Welcome to Week 3 of the 2023 Collegiate Chess League presented by SIG. I am your host Nemo, and I am joined here by the wonderful Joe to bring you coverage of some of the top grandmasters playing chess. But not only are they top grandmasters, they are also in college. So I'm personally really excited about this. What about you, Joe?
I'm so excited. We are in week 3. We're almost halfway done with the regular season. Still so much chess left to be played, and we've got some very exciting matches coming up today.
For sure. And also we have the standings here just as a quick reminder before jumping into week 3. We have St. Louis University with 27 points. And don't forget, this is only week 3, so that means that they have only played 2 matches so far for a total of 32 possible points. So St. Louis is just crushing it with their 27 points. And on top of that, Missouri is in second with 23.5. Joe, what is the most surprising story of the young season so far?
Well, I'm actually not so surprised by these standings right now. We're only 2 weeks in, so there's plenty of the season left for these standings to shuffle around a little bit. You're totally right. 27 points is insane. That means they've only missed out on 5 points out of 32. But I'm most surprised by Mizzou's MVP actually being their board 2, Mikhail Antipov, who we interviewed last week. And he's had a almost perfect score of 7.5 out of 8. He's only had 1 draw, so he hasn't been beat yet, Nemo. Do you have some fun facts for us?
Well, Chess.com prepared these fun facts, so they definitely do. But I will tell everybody in the chat exactly how great of a crusher Mikhail Antipov is. He is the 2015 U20 World Junior Chess Champion, which means at one point, he was the best chess player under the age of 20. And as of current standings on the FIDE World Rankings, he is ranked 200 and is also ranked 68 on the Chess.com Blitz leaderboards. I mean, he is absolutely just crushing it. He has an online blitz rating of 3009, and he's also basically had 2 weeks of absolute perfection, except for that one draw against Owen. He has beat every other grandmaster and every other player in between, and he's just been absolutely crushing it. I mean, Joe, we've seen him play chess. What do you think was the standout? What game do you think he played the best in?
Well, if you look at the top of the list, he's got 2 GMs in the win column for him, both of them from U Chicago. So Antipov played an instrumental role in their win against them last week, obviously taking down Awonder Liang and Praveen Balakrishnan. And that's all in the same match. That was like back to back. So huge performance from Antipov. And I'm really excited to see him play again today. So Nemo, that kind of takes us into the board assignments. I think that we're ready to see Mizzou take on their toughest opponents yet so far this season. They're playing against UT Dallas, which is another scholarship team. So we see Antipov is now board 1 as Oparin is out this week. We've got Raja and Luca as the other GMs. And we've got Josiah Sterman coming in at board 4 because Begim is playing in the U.S. Women's Championship right now in St. Louis. And UT Dallas has 3 GMs of their own, Gustav, Ivan, and Raul. And their international master is actually Andre, who is their team captain. Do you have something to say about the Dallas team, Nemo?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Joe and I were chatting a little bit beforehand because, we're stuck here for an hour. I'm like, just here with Joe's company. So I was telling him all these fun facts about my childhood. Sorry, Joe. But I have known Andre McAvey for a little bit. We used to share openings together. This is one of those fun facts about chess players. I don't know if you've actually done this, Joe. Were you ever friends with someone and you would be like, hey, you played a really cool opening. Can I get that file? I don't know if this was ever a thing you did, but this is like pretty common when you're competitive and, not everyone's always in the sharing spirit, but yeah, we used to, he's from Moldova. I used to have a coach from Hungary and we used to just share for openings. So it was pretty wholesome. So it's really great to see him now playing for University of Texas at Dallas. And I'm personally really excited for this match because we have not seen University of Texas play just yet. So Joe, take us away with the match format before we jump into the games.
Of course. Yeah, we've got a CCL format very similar to the Pro Chess League, which is teams of 4. It's all play all, so that means there's a total of 16 games. Time control is 5+2, so it's a blitz format. It's going to be fast-paced. You get a point for a win, a draw or a half point for a draw, and no points if you lose. So it's first to 8.5 wins. If it's tied 8-8, then you go to a round 5 overtime round with 3+2 time control, so it's a bit faster. And if it's still tied, you settle it in 1+2 until a winner is decided. So the matches are about to begin. That's the format. I can't wait. We've got 2 matches today, starting off with the 2 scholarship teams. We're going to go to the bird's eye view. This is all 4 games for round 1. They're going to begin at any moment. I think Antipov is actually helping set up at the U.S. Championship right now. So it's really cool to see Mizzou is there and supporting Begim in the Women's Championship. Have you been watching the championship at all, Nemo?
I have not been watching, but I am quite familiar with the way that a lot of these schools function. And it's really wholesome that if one of their players is actually competing in something really important, like, the U.S. Chess Championships, not saying that the Collegiate Chess League isn't, but the U.S. Chess Championships only happen once a year. And if you win, you are effectively the best player in the United States of America. So it's a pretty big deal. And what happens is that these schools oftentimes send their best players to help their other players prepare and vice versa. Whoever is currently in a tournament, they will send someone to go help. So I think that's a really, really great team spirit. It's not like, Antipov and Begim necessarily have that much in common, but because they're on the same school team, they are all helping each other. And I love that. I really do. But yeah, we are going to jump into this game between Michal Antipov and Rahul.
Raul from Dallas. This is board 1 versus board 4. And Antipov is actually playing from his phone because he's still, like, I guess, at the St. Louis Chess Club trying to get to a laptop there. So that's actually really, really interesting.
Yes.
But yeah, there's like other college players playing in the U.S. Championship, especially for the women's. I think like the game we mentioned from Mizzou, but there's also Carissa Yip, who's in Stanford right now, and Jennifer Yu, who is at Harvard. So that's like 3 of them. And we also referenced Alice Lee last week, whose brother plays for the Yale team here at the CCL. So there's so much college talent.
Whoa. You just put Alice Lee in the same
No, she's
category.
she's not in college.
Right, I was just going to say, she's like 14.
I know. I jumped the gun a little bit there, but like obviously
Leaked.
I just mentioned like her brother's in the CCL. And like on the men's side, I know Andrew Tang is playing. He's a former CCL player. I think Darius Swiertz also might be playing and also former CCL. So I just think it's so cool to have so many talented young players playing the championship as well as the CCL at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we are jumping into the matches immediately, but don't forget, chat, we want to see you guys make predictions. And I also love to do this thing with Joe where we both predict on what the score is and we put 10 subs on it. So Joe, are you willing to participate this week?
I think I kind of have to at this point, right?
You're committed. You're committed. Nobody has had to give 10 subs yet because neither of us have gotten it right. This is if you get the score exactly correct. And also, chat, if you guys get the score exactly correct, Chess.com will be giving you a sub.
How about this camera view real quick of Antipov?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Couch.
Yeah, he is he's not even in the shot. I wonder if there are like fair play regulations. Like we can see that your camera is on, but can you be in the shot? Do you think that's like ever a comment they get?
Well, I think right now we're using the cameras for broadcast purposes, and Antipov's definitely not disappointing. So props to him for that. But
yes.
How's his chess doing?
His chess is doing pretty well. I think the white king, is feeling a little bit shaky over here as Antipov is gearing up for knight takes g3. I suppose the best way to defend this pawn is to simply move the pawn up, but you know, like I don't like having these holes in my king side. I don't know about you, Joe.
Whoa, queen d3. I was gonna say, what if like king h2? What was wrong with that?
I'm not sure what's wrong with king h2, but I can tell you what's wrong with queen d3, and that's the fact that this is a free pawn that Antipov doesn't actually even want to take. So now I'm like, wait a minute. I would have personally taken this pawn. I think that was very free, but maybe Antipov saw something that I didn't see, which is very likely.
It looks like Antipov just wants to plant that knight on e4, and that's kind of a pawn gambit or sacrifice, if you will.
Yeah, and let's actually take a quick look at bird's eye view, because I know that Antipov has been talked about a lot, but don't forget, there are also a lot of other strong grandmasters here. We do have the team captain, who is an international master, Andre McAvey from UT Dallas. There's, you know, who outside of Antipov are you most excited to see today?
Well, it's really cool that you're friends with Andre. So that's going to be exciting. But I'm really excited to watch Josiah Stearman, actually. He's the board 4 for Mizzou International Master. I think he's going to probably surprise a few people today with maybe a couple wins against some of the stronger Dallas players. Josiah actually is a grad student at Mizzou, and he's played in the CCL in undergrad when he was studying at Berkeley. So he's a West Coast guy, just like me. I guess like us. I don't know.
Wait,
You consider yourself
I thought you were from the St. Louis. I thought you were from St. Louis.
I am from St. Louis, but I left when I was 16. So I've been living in California for almost a decade.
Oh,
now.
wow.
Yeah.
Wait, I actually did not know that you've been living in you live in California? Wait, do we live in the same city?
I'm in LA, Nemo. Like,
oh my God.
we've since hung out.
Yes. Okay. I am aware that we have hung out. I am aware of that. Thank you, Joe. I just
visiting?
didn't.
Okay.
I thought you were visiting. Yes, I always thought you were visiting. I did not know that you actually live here in LA. Well, That's slightly awkward. My co-commentator and I live in the same city, but I had no idea.
Yeah, thanks for
So,
inviting me to all the parties, Nima. Appreciate that.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Thank you for inviting me to the Chess.com meetup.
Oh, well, I mean, if you want a job, just let us know. Like, I'm sure we can maybe work something out.
Yeah, I'm sure Chess.com would talk. Okay. I mean, it's all fun and stuff, but the Chess.com meetup certainly looked awesome. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw pictures on socials. I certainly did, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I was there. But sadly, I was not there. It's okay, though, because we are going to come back out of bird's eye view and take a look at Antipop's position once again. He is now completely crushing, I would personally say.
He's still not on the camera just yet, but he is definitely winning pretty convincingly with the black pieces. I mean, kind of an expected result. Even though this is GM versus GM, this is still board 1 versus board 4. So it makes sense. Also, I think you asked me like about a prediction, so I should probably start putting some points down before we get some results here. So I feel like Dallas is definitely the strongest team that Mizzou is facing so far, but I still think Mizzou is going to get the win. So both these schools are 2 for 2 right now. I think Mizzou is going to give Dallas their first loss of the season. Now, the exact score, I'm going to say it's going to be a close one, maybe 9-7.
You think it's going to be 9-7?
Yeah.
Okay, Mizzou winning by 9. Wow, that's a really, really good score. I mean, you've drawn the line basically perfect.
I mean, you could predict the same if you want, but
I think that's too boring. I think we have to have 2 different predictions for this to be exciting, And also, chat, once again, if you guys want to toss out some scores out there, I'll try to keep you in mind and give you a sub after the broadcast. I really like to put these predictions because it makes you think. It actually actively helps me think about how strong one team is versus the other. So I'm actually going to go for 10-6. 10 for Mizzou and 6 for UT Dallas.
10-6. That's actually... You still think... we both agree Mizzou's going to win?
We both agree that Mizzou's going to win. Okay, you know what? I'm going to change it. 6.5.
Well, okay, so 9.5, 9.5,
yeah.
6.5. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, totally solid. I think that Dallas definitely has a chance to prove both of us wrong. So maybe some people in the chat want to take Dallas's side because this Dallas team is super strong. Obviously, they're 2 for 2. They're a scholarship team. They've got 3 GMs just like Mizzou does. But yeah, if we both think that Mizzou is the favorite, what exactly do we think is the difference between the 2 teams if they both have 3 GMs and 1 IM each?
Well, I think the difference is that Mizzou has Antipov.
And
he is... Yes, he is a big difference maker. He is absolutely crushing it right now. We still don't see him on the camera, but he is winning this game. So we're actually going to go to bird's eye view on that note because I trust him to win this. White's king is just absolutely out in the open, and he's got these pass pawns on G5 and H6. So we will let Antipov do his thing. But any other games that you want to take a look at?
Yeah, we have another GM versus GM matchup that we haven't looked at yet. Raja versus Ivan Shitko from Dallas. And it looks like Ivan's got a pretty decent position. They both have castled kingside. Ivan's got the white pieces, of course. How do you feel about it?
Honestly, I am a bit of an, Eval Bar Andy. It does say that White's position is really, really good in this position, so I trust it. I mean, I feel like White's position is really good. We're gonna see it right now. This bishop on b7 is absolutely dead. It's really nice going into the position, seeing what the engine evaluates the position to be, and then asking yourself, well, why does the eval bar think that? And in this very specific case, we actually don't have an eval bar on the board itself. We apologize to the chat for that. Not that any of you guys have noticed, but that's okay. We're going to apologize beforehand anyways. White's absolutely just aimed at black's king. There is knight takes h6 because if g takes h6, there's bishop takes f6 coming up. So there's definitely a lot of ideas here for white, and black basically can't move any of his pieces. If he moves his knight, the g7 pawn is going to fall. If he takes this pawn on e4, there is bishop takes, rook takes, and bishop takes g7. And black's king is just feeling so weak. So this is not really a position I would personally like to play as black, especially with 16 seconds on the clock. Ah!
Whoa. Look at that. Exchange sack.
So why not just knight takes e4? This is just like a directly worse version of knight takes e4. I'm very confused.
Desperate times, I guess. Desperate measured. Wow. So sack first and sack back. Knight takes h6 with check. Not even accepting it. King to f8 now. Now do you take the rook or what's up?
I think we take the rook, yeah, and just take on g7 with a check.
Yeah, that's smooth. And now rook e1, pinning the knight. How do you defend the knight?
You play that, but f3, there's a pin.
f3 wins, pins and wins.
f3 pins and wins. And Raja does not look very happy right now.
So the king is on the run a little bit. I mean, is there anything to play for black? You're down on time too.
Nope. He's just down a rook.
That is rough.
That is quite rough. I mean, being down a rook against Grandmaster is probably not fun. It's not a good way to start off your Saturday morning.
Yeah. So maybe we take another look at Bird's Eye. It looks like we have 2 results in already. Antipov getting the job done, as we suspected. We also have Josiah losing to the top board, Kustav. So strong result for Dallas. But we have this third game that we haven't looked at yet. Andre versus Luca.
Andre versus Luca, indeed. I mean, Andre has a 2,800 Chess.com Blitz rating, which is very, respectable. Which is actually about 100 points higher rated than his opponent, who is Grandmaster. So,
So are you cheering for Andre because he's your friend?
Yeah, something like that. But I'm always cheering for the better player.
Oh, really? You're not cheering for the underdog?
Okay, you know what? You're right. I do cheer for the... But in this case very specifically, UT Dallas doesn't feel like an underdog that much. It's not like when Mizzou was playing against Chicago or something,
I think Andre has really good odds here. I mean, Luca is very low on time. He's got less than 10 seconds. Luca's also down in exchange.
Yeah.
They both have these passed pawns. How are they stopping either pawn? Queen d8? No? Wait.
Wow.
What was wrong with queen d8? Maybe there was like some queen check. So we see the rook is sacked. Yeah, if you trade pawns, you lose the knight. So knight check and now take the pawn. So Luca's actually just up. Wait, he's allowing promote. Oh, he gets knight g5.
Yeah,
fork.
you can promote. If promotion, there's knight to g5 with the fork. Wonderful spot.
Wait, but why didn't he take the pawn? Wait, what's happening?
Well, I think white's just going. No, I think white's just going for mate. I think there's better than perpetual here.
But where's the mate?
Where is the mate? Okay, you know what? I don't see the mate. It just feels like there's going to be checkmate.
Wait,
Also, if
queen
queen
e7.
takes,
Knight f6.
That's oh wait, this is checkmate.
Now it's mate. Wow, Luca, nice win against your friend Andre. So
yeah,
the GM bests the IM there.
Yes, indeed.
Despite being down in exchange initially.
Right. Well, that just goes to show how nitpicky you have to be in chess. It's really, really difficult to be playing, excellent chess, I suppose, all the time.
Yeah, so we have 2 points for both teams. Mizzou has a point from Antipov and Luca, and Dallas has a point from Gustav and Ivan. So, yeah, strong start, especially from the top boards, getting their wins over the bottom boards. And we're going to go into round 2 now.
Round 2 starting immediately over here. Well, so far, our predictions... Joe is looking really close. You said 7, right? 7
9
to
to
9.
7.
9
Yeah.
to 7. Okay, and I said 6.5 to 9.5.
Yeah. So I mean, we're both like within a half point. So it's going to be tight. Right now it's 2-2. So if they keep at this pace, it's going to be maybe an 8-8 overtime. But we've never seen that yet. So that would be really exciting.
Do you mind reminding us again how overtime works?
Yeah, so it's the same as round 4, but you just switch colors and play 3+2 instead of 5+2. And if it's still tied, then you do that except with 1+2 bullet time control. If you count that as bullet, I know that the 2-second increment maybe not so much, but
Yeah. I was
you would
just
do
gonna,
that until you win.
I mean, I feel like sudden death formats when it comes to chess are so stressful.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see a tie though. Even though it's tied 2-2 right now, I think that Mizzou at some point is going to break through.
Yeah. Well, I still haven't seen any predictions come in from chat on the specific score. So once again, this is a gentle reminder that we do have a 2-2 for round number 1. But I want to know what you guys think the final score is going to be. So if anybody wants to chip in and tell us about their opinions, please let us know. But you pick a game, Joe. Any game.
Any game. All right. How about we look at Antipov board 1? It's a good starting point. He started his game first. It looks like he's got his camera back. He's settled in. He's got the white pieces.
Indeed. I also do want to point out that currently we have Andre Makovey's camera instead of Ivan's. So these are not actually the two players playing against each other. And I would actually know this because I do know what Andre looks like. So, dude, insider info here.
That's why you're calling the shots, Nemo, maybe.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. But no feelings.
Are you sure they just
lost?
haven't changed their appearance since last you saw him? When was the last time you saw Andre?
I don't actually know. It's probably been a while. It's probably like the last World Youth or something that I played. I haven't played maybe an Olympiad or something like that. So it's definitely been at least 4 years, I would say.
I
skipped the last one.
I've met I want to say like most of these players at Pan Ams, but I've also seen Antipov a few times. Like he's played in Vegas with me for like North American Open, maybe even National Open as well. And have you ever played there, Nemo? I feel like you have.
The National Open?
Or the North American Open.
I have only played 2 U.S. tournaments. Maybe 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen you in one of them in Vegas.
You did?
Yeah, I think you streamed it. No?
Was this the one? Oh, last summer.
So it was the National Open.
Yeah, okay, I did play that one, yes.
Yeah. How'd you do?
Not great. There were too many little kids playing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think my last round, I played against a 9-year-old who was like 1800, and he was 1800 pre-pandemic.
Oh.
So just imagine how good he was post-pandemic.
Yeah.
And then right after the tournament as well, like right after our round, he asked me why I'm not as good as Levy. And ever since then, I've just been like, oh, okay.
That's rough. And
you know what? I'm just going to say it away.
These kids are brutal these days. No filter.
Yeah, they're brutal on the board and brutal off the board. It was
double whammy.
It was a double whammy for sure.
1-2 punch.
Yeah, they really hit me with it. So, anyways, I've not been back to play any tournaments in the U.S. since then.
Scars. This kid can say that he made you retire from
well,
US.
I only retire from U.S. tournaments because I think it's really important to also note for a lot of people that might not be familiar with how tournaments on other continents run. U.S. is the hardest. U.S. has the hardest tournaments, I think, by far. And the reasons for that are because, first of all, you have all the little kids playing. They have a lot of time on their hands. This is the only thing they do. And on top of that, everybody has a really strong grandmaster coach because there are just so many grandmasters in the US. And then on top of that, the games are 2 rounds a day, whereas in Europe, most of the time you only play 1 round per day. So as someone who is a little older, I feel really tired after game 1, especially if it lasts for 6 hours because the kid refuses to resign. So anyways, I just have a lot of feelings about my American tournaments.
I'm sorry, did you just say as someone who's a bit older?
Yes, as someone who's a bit older.
Wow.
I am no longer a teenager. I can't do this anymore.
Did that offend anyone else in chat, or is it just me? You're still, I mean, what, 22, 23?
Yeah, I'm 23.
Okay.
But I definitely think that I had more patience for longer, especially for like 12-hour days, I would say, when it comes to chess. I definitely had a lot more patience for that when I was younger. I think now if I have to sit for 6 hours and another 6 hours, I'm just like, my mind's toast. Mine's really just toast.
Yeah. I mean, chess is brutal. Playing all day is really tough. I think like even Levy has played in these Vegas tournaments and trying to chase like norms, and it's like the hardest thing to do.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe we should take another look at the bird's eye view. I think Antipov, he's got a time advantage, but we've got all these games to look at. Anything stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like Gustav has a slight advantage despite being attacked. I think that game looks really interesting. Should we jump to that one?
Yeah, let's dive right in. We just saw Luca get a nice win. This is his first match of the season. I met Luca. He's a young guy. He's a cool guy. He's, I think, like a really good tool for the Miz-UT team. Like, he wasn't playing the last 2 weeks, but they have Oparin out this week, which is actually a pretty interesting piece of information because even without their star, their board 1, we're still favoring Miz-UT. Like, that's how deep these teams are. You have GMs on their subs, right? Like, that's crazy.
I mean, I think what's really crazy about some of these teams is that they have like 3 different teams and they all are grandmasters. I don't know what Miz-UT's Division 2 team looks like, or Division 3 for that matter, but I can imagine they have a few grandmasters on those teams as well.
I think Miz-UT has only registered one of their scholarship teams in a season at a time. They have had like their B team be like a club team, but not with their usual talent on the roster. But like, I think this year, Dallas is the only scholarship school with a B team. They're the strongest rated Division 2 team. And last year, UT Rio Grande Valley, the other Texas school, they did register their B team, which ended up winning Division 2. So yeah, these teams are deep and they've got a lot of talent, and it's really cool to see them compete at full strength. So right now, it seems that most of the schools are just focusing on Division 1 because that's where all the attention is, right? That's just getting them on the big screen.
Yep, and we do have some wonderful games on the big screen. Right now, this bishop is attacking the rook on f1. It has to move. This is not a free pawn, by the way. This rook's defending it. But, you know, this game is more or less equal, despite the fact that it feels like White's sort of getting checkmated. I was looking over and like, what if queen h4, you know? But I suppose on queen h4, you simply... Okay, well, he took on a4, just getting rid of this knight. Now White does have the pair bishops, but I don't like this a5 move that much. I think this was a free pawn on h5, not that. Gustav took it.
He's going for the... Yeah, he's going to get that pawn either way. He's corralling it. So, yeah, a5 is interesting. I mean, it just blocks White's a pawn. So that trade on a4 was very interesting, giving up the bishop for the knight. But it does double and isolate the a-pawns. But, okay, actually, it looks like Luca is defending the pawns for now, but maybe not for long.
Maybe not for long. It does feel like White's position is improving rapidly, might I add. I think the rook's being disconnected still on move 26 when we're very deep into the middle game is just, you know, it's a bit of a killer on your position, right? Because you want your rooks to be seeing each other. They're rook bros, they're friends, they want to be holding hands. But in this case, they're not. So now black has to spend a move to defend his rook. But there's also nowhere really good for his bishop to go. For example, if he plays bishop to a7, now there's just a free pawn on f5. So it's looking slightly rough here for black.
It would have been more than just a pawn on f5. Like rook takes h5 there was threatening checkmate. So black plays rook e7, hitting the queen, kind of forces the queen trade, which is kind of good for white, actually. Because now you have these really active rooks that are doubled. They're these rook bros, like you mentioned.
Yes. We love the rook bros. Your rook should always be traveling together.
They're a team.
They are
kind of like the
team.
bishop pair.
Exactly, kind of like the bishop pair. The one team you don't really want all the time are the knights.
Really?
Yeah, like the knights are good in close positions, but they travel on the same squares way too much, whereas a bishop pair covers all the dark squares and all the light squares. Does that sort of make sense?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's why queens and knights are a better combo oftentimes in endgames versus queens and bishops. Because you want the ability to control different squares.
Wow, Kustov is rattling off such a nice combo.
It looks like ladder mate coming up.
The rook bros are cooking right now.
The rook bros are cooking, yeah.
Oh man, what a beautiful, like the bishop check, the discovery, didn't even take the exchange, just goes for the skewer and gets a huge win there against Luca. So Luca goes down. We've got the bird's eye view again. I'm glad we were watching that. That was such a sick sequence. Maybe we got to dive into Ivan versus Antipov. Ivan's got like no time left.
Yeah, let's do it. Ivan versus Antipov. Whoa. It looks like Antipov, for the first time this entire tournament, was in trouble for one move. I said that and I jinxed it. And I didn't even get to finish my sentence and I jinxed it. I mean, okay, so the reason that I was saying he's in trouble was because before queen to h6, he could go queen to e6, actually. So now the rook's under attack and you can't just take this bishop for free. And now your pawn's also pushed. But with the way that his opponent played it with queen h6, now this is just a free bishop.
Well, yeah, it looks like maybe there was like rook takes d2 or something. But that's funny, though. You're like, this is the first time the whole season that Antipov was in trouble. But like, it was only for one move.
Yeah, I mean, this is also really cute because if you move your rook to e2, you cut off circulation to your rook. So if you move here, then you can play e2, and if you take, then you just get the rook,
then
right? Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's just all about the pass pawn over there. But that was not played, obviously. That was that path.
Whoa.
Hypothetical
Queen
position.
sack.
And now, yeah, it's looking a little bit rough for Antipov. That was not a free queen. That was not a Boda's gambit, guys. The knight was pinned.
The knight was pinned. But okay, so queen versus the rook bros. Who wins?
In this case, the queen, because white is also up 5 pawns.
Oh my god, look at all those pawns.
All those pawns. White has 5 pawns, chat. 5.
Count them.
Count them.
They're
Having
both...
5 extra pawns is a bit of a flex. It's pretty hard to be up 5 pawns.
Yeah.
When's the last time you were up 5 pawns, Joe?
Too long.
Too long. I can't remember any time I've ever been up 5 pawns.
So Antipov, I mean, still hasn't been beat yet. Who, if anyone, is going to take him down?
Well, who is board 1 for University of Texas?
That's a great question. It should be... Is it Kustov? I think it's Kustov.
Okay. Maybe Kustov can do it.
Maybe. So,
maybe. I'm not convinced,
Antipov
though.
gets the win.
He does.
It's still tied 3-3. We got 2 games left. Maybe we tune into Raul versus Raja.
Let's do that. I am definitely a firm believer in the Antipov supremacy, so I'm not convinced that. Oh, wow. These are some tactics coming in.
Oh, my gosh. Bishop e4 check. What a move from Raul.
All right, we have to take a quick look at this because it looks like a bunch of pieces just got blundered, but Actually, it was perfectly sequenced. So bishop to e4 check. If you move your king, promotion, right? Can't do that. Takes the bishop. But now there is knight to c3 with a fork, losing the rook. And now black can simply go take this pawn. And this is actually one of those benefits of having a knight, because a knight and a pawn and a king is usually always winning against a lone king. But if it was a bishop, it would have to be actually the color of the promotion square. So all these little endgame things coming in handy here.
Wow. Yeah, it's a good detail to bring out. And we do have one last board. It looks like we got an opposite color bishop draw, which just came in. So the two IMs, Josiah and Andre, they couldn't settle. So
yes.
Who's winning right now? It looks like Dallas might be taking that initial lead thanks to Raul's win over Raja.
Certainly looks that way. I mean, I feel like we both predicted that Miz-UT would win. So how are we feeling now at halftime?
Well, that's a great point. I think that maybe a little nervous, right? Like Dallas taking that initial lead. Obviously, we still have half the match left. So Dallas taking a big lead going into half. We were going to take a break before that, though. So did you want to take a look at the player performance so far, Nemo?
Yeah, let's take a look at that really quick. I mean, before we, even go anywhere, just remember that this is a 4-round match. So we have finished 2 rounds right now with 4.5 for University of Texas and 3.5 for Miz-UT. So, we are going to go on break really soon, but before we go on break, make sure you are joining the official Chess.com community club. This is the place to be for all info on community tournaments, giveaways, contests, and other events. Plus, connect with the community, they're lovely by the way, and stay up to date on the chess world. Use command community in chat to get in on that action. And don't go anywhere, there's going to be plenty of chess to be played today. So the second half of this match is coming right up, and next we will also have the University of Chicago versus the University of Virginia. So stick around, we shall be right back.
Your subscription makes shows like this possible, which is why our Twitch subscribers will never see ads on Chess.com. Connect your Chess.com account and Twitch account at go.chess.com/connectaccounts, and bang, boom, voila, you're done. 100% ad-free bliss forevermore. Whether you're following our events on site or on stream, type the command connect in the chat, and thank you for helping bring these shows to life.
Love playing chess variants? Or just looking for something new? Join us for the Variants Community Series. Every 2 months, we'll be featuring a different variant in a series of events and competitions. Learn a new variant and compete against other players for prize money, or just play for fun. Look for community arenas, streamer arenas, and championship events. 6 weekly arena tournaments held every Thursday will be followed by a championship event with cash prizes, including a $1,000 first place prize. The third and final weekly arenas will be streamer arenas, featuring gifted subs as prizes. Win any of these events to qualify for the championship. The Variants Community Series kicks off on September 7th with King of the Hill, where the first to occupy the center wins the game. But getting checkmated still loses. And join the Variants Club today to learn more about upcoming events, how to participate, and much, much more. See you in the arena on Chess.com.
Welcome back to the Collegiate Chess League presented by SIG. Currently, University of Texas Dallas leads the University of Missouri 4.5 to 3.5 through 2 rounds. And also, here are the round 3 lineups. Joe, take it away.
Round 3 is coming up. We just watched the first half, and now time for the second half, where we're going to see board 1 versus board 2. We're going to see board 3 versus board 4. So I'm really excited to see who is going to take down Antipov, if anyone, from this Dallas team. So far, he's 2 for 2, leading the way from Mizzou, but they're down by a point. So it's going to be interesting to see if Mizzou can lead a comeback. I mean, they're only down by 1, so it's still anyone's game. Nemo and I both predicted Mizzou to win. So I think we got to see them take the lead back and get the dub in these last 2 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people have been seeing Mizzou's success on this stream over the last 2 weeks. So going into round 3 of week 3 with Mizzou being down is actually a first. I haven't seen them being lower on the scoreboard just yet. Have you?
No, but we also haven't seen this Dallas team compete, and it looks like Dallas is going to try to take advantage of the fact that Mizzou's top board, Oparin, isn't playing this week. This is a golden opportunity for them to continue their win streak and to give Mizzou their first loss of the season. So they're going to try to prove us wrong and hold on to this 1-point advantage, or maybe even add on to it in these last 2 rounds. I'm really interested to see how your friend Andre is going to do against Antipov. We were saying maybe it's going to be the top board from Dallas to do it, but what do you think? I mean, upsets are possible. We saw actually Antipov had a draw against Virginia against their board too, Owen McCoy. So anything's possible. Do you believe in your friend Andre? He's got the white pieces.
I definitely do. I think that he is very well versed in the Ruy Lopez. I actually, funnily enough, saw someone comment sharing Ruy Lopez files a little whiles back, and that's exactly what we shared. Yes, we are both players of the Spanish opening. So anyways, I'm really cheering for that personally. I know that they're going to the Berlin. This is not everybody's favorite. It can be a little slow. It can be a little bit dry. But it does mean that white basically has no shot at losing for the most part, but unfortunately it does also mean that black doesn't have that high of a chance to lose. So we're actually not going to dive directly into that game because I do predict a very slow sort of paced middle game, so we can come back to that later. But other than that, Joe, would you like to pick any of the other games that have already started? We are on a staggered start here.
Yeah, I mean, you leave me really with Raja versus Kustov, but Raul and Luca just started, but maybe we look at game 2 instead.
Yeah, we can definitely take a look at game number 2.
I'm not a fan of his light square bishop. It's like behind this wall of pawns, but he's pushing them, so it's going to open up any moment.
It is. It certainly is. I mean, I think this is one of those positions where white's pretty comfortable because if you ever get hanging pawns, you've got the pair of bishops. So you can't really complain that much if you get hanging pawns here.
And speaking of being comfortable, he has added a lot of time to his clock. Obviously, with white, he seems to be better prepped, but 5:13, remember, you only start with 5 minutes. So he's using that increment, and he's already got a minute advantage over Raja.
We love to see it. I'm all for this. I personally really enjoy faster time controls, and when I've been practicing a little bit for the IMSCC, the I'm Not a GM Speed Chess Championships, and when I play against the pool, I have this bad habit of not using any time when I play 3-2. So I kind of relate. 5+2 can definitely make you rack up the time, especially if you know your openings well.
I think in a previous year, I've seen a few players end games with more times than they started, which is kind of crazy. It's typically, someone like Awonder against a board 4.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to see any of that today with these two teams being so close in strength, but it definitely happens.
It definitely does. And now Gustav actually has to think a little bit because the knight is on f4. It's eyeing his king pawns. What do you think he's going to play here?
Well, it depends on what white does, right? Like, the computer's showing a question mark for that move. Maybe not the best. I feel like white has an opportunity here. I was looking at d5 break because maybe we want to take on f6, but no. He plays queen to b3, connecting his rooks, and I think white doesn't have to worry too much about this knight on f4 because they took the bishop back on f1, which is completely boxing that piece out.
Yeah. I mean, I think this position is still very balanced. Obviously, black is reaching a little bit. And I like to use this term reaching when you're pushing for perhaps a tactic or a win in a position where you might not have it. And I think this is a really good example of that. The queen on c6 is aimed at white's king, but what do you play after knight to e5? Right, you simply have to go back, and now you have wasted a move, and white has improved their knight. So I think Raja might be reaching a little bit in this position, and now white has all these ideas with perhaps a5. I'm really enjoying white's position here.
Yeah, and we've seen Raja kind of struggle a little bit previously, and I think he lost in round 2. So if he gets another loss here, it's going to be tough for his team. So this could be a really good opportunity for Dallas, especially for Gustav, particularly, to get some more points for that Dallas team.
Yes, absolutely. Well, let's take it to bird's eye view really quick just to check on the health of all of the other games that we are seeing today. Don't forget, this is round 3. So, a lot of things are at stake here. I mean, we've seen some very exciting games so far. But yes, a quick bird's eye view will tell us who is doing slightly better. Because none of these matches have been particularly one-sided or lopsided like we might have seen in the past, but...
Yeah, well, we looked at Gustav's game. I think maybe this is a good time to look at Raul versus Luca.
Indeed. Raul versus Luca. They are in a tight battle here. I would say I really like white's position, but then I noticed that the king is also on f1. So everybody's king is feeling a little bit unsafe, and I kind of love that. What's your chess style? What's your playing style in chess, Joe?
Well, I like the opposite side castles attacking games, right? I don't know if that's necessarily like my favorite style per se, but this game isn't quite opposite side castles. It looks like white tried to launch the attack with the h-pawn, but ended up just grabbing space and not opening anything. So this rook on h1 is a little awkward. how do you think white can continue this attack? I was thinking like queen f4 at some point looks really strong.
Queen to f4 at some point does look really strong. I'm actually not entirely sure how he is going to continue this attack. I think it's basically impossible with the king being on g2 and being right out there like what just open. You can't really push up these pawns. So maybe he needs to adopt a slightly different strategy and maybe park a knight on c4, maybe bring his knight from h3 back into the game. I think this is one of those positions where you should switch gears, and instead of trying to like force this kingside attack, which endangers your king as well, just try to train into a slightly more favorable endgame, because once again, white is actually up a pawn, and you know, they have the potential to be pass pawns, so time to switch gears a little bit.
That's definitely right, and I think you had a good point that you can't just force the attack, because obviously queen f4 doesn't work right away immediately. My point is that you want to attack on the f file, the knight would have to move, but queen f4 at the moment would be a blunder to knight d3 just immediately. But also it hangs the a pawn, like rook takes a2. Getting a rook on the second rank opposite the king is really deadly. So white's a little tied down at the moment. How do you feel about this idea c4 from Raul?
I really like c4. I think c4 is the best move in that position, because it removes the possibility of the a and b pawns becoming connected pass pawns and instead creates a backwards pawn on c4. Not to mention that it sets up this wonderful tactic with knight to f3, getting double exclamation marks from Chess.com, because after king takes f3, which he does play actually, I'm not sure about rook a3. Sorry, I was gonna say there's knight a4. It's a fork.
Oh, and then if
fork.
the queen
now,
moves,
right now there's rook a3.
Wow. So
wow,
knight e4 first.
Yeah,
did he
because
find it?
No, well, after rook a3, now there's actually rook to c3, which is another reason why I should play knight a4, so it cuts off this check. But now with king g2, it's less clear, because now the pawn on g4 has also been lost. I'm not really sure what's going on anymore.
So Raul finds the double exclam brilliant, but he doesn't follow up with the most accurate response. It's still very interesting. He's still attacking.
Yes.
A2 is under threat right now. I feel like knight e3 is still good. I mean, that's hitting both rooks plus the king. Well, I guess the bishop
knight
is
e3 there is bishop takes, but I to your point, I still think that can be really strong. I mean, black is simply down a piece right now, but he has plenty of compensation for it. So, you know, it's really hard to play these positions as white in blitz time control. If you're playing this with a longer time control, you might be able to find the defenses. You might be able to, you know, solidify your king position. But because it's blitz, it's much more likely to get crazy really, really quickly. And black is also much more likely to make unsound moves, which in response, you might not be able to find the best move. So in response, the whole game just becomes this like great tactical mess, because nobody has the time to find the best moves.
Definitely. And even though this position is very interesting, I do want to mention that we have results with Kustov taking down Raja, as we were seeing earlier. We also see, if we want to look at the bird's eye view, there's still 3 games left. We haven't looked at board 4 just yet. Josiah looks like he's in big trouble against Ivan from Dallas. So Dallas, they got a 2-point lead now. And I think that our predictions are starting to look worse and worse as the games continue, Nemo.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's looking a lot like University of Texas might actually just be taking down Miz-U today. I mean, most people predicted that Miz-U is going to win, right?
I think what most people forgot is that Oparin is not playing this week.
I forgot that. I'm not going to lie. Before I made the prediction.
A big factor.
Where is Oparin again today?
Oh, I'm not even sure. Who knows?
Oh, okay. Okay, who knows?
Whoa, look at this move.
Wow.
Knight h6. But I think that just loses a knight. So Ivan gets the dub. So yeah, tough start of the season for Josiah coming in as board 4. I mean, for anyone to try to fill in Oparin's absence is tough. So totally get that. But yeah, that's just another point in the Dallas win column. They're up to 6.5 now. They only need 2 points to secure the dub, and I think they're gonna get it.
Crazy. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, let's take a quick look at Luca versus Rahul, where we're coming back to this game because Andre's game is still very equal coming out of there at Berlin early on.
That Berlin, that's probably a good choice by Andre then, right?
Yeah, for sure. Holding Antipov to a draw is definitely a really good choice. It doesn't make for the most exciting chess, but I'm sure Andre is not playing to impress, the viewers. He's just playing for the result. So we really respect that. But here, White does look like he is mostly out of trouble in terms of getting checkmated, and now just has to probably draw this endgame. I mean, I know that he's up a piece, but with only 2 pawns on the board left for White and Black having 4, I actually like the side with the pawns more because it's pretty hard to win this position with White. So, even though White's slightly better in this situation, I think Black has more practical chances.
Yeah, I like Black's idea. King coming to G6 to grab that H pawn. Is there any way to stop that?
There is not, but knight to b6 is actually a blunder because rooks on the 7th are incredibly strong. And actually, we are going to go back one quick move here because rook to c6 was an inaccuracy. And instead, there was this lovely knight takes g5 followed by rook to c6. But with 20 seconds on the clock, we are going to be much more lenient about... Oh, wait, it worked anyways.
Whoa.
Because whoa.
He did it. He might have done it a move later.
Yeah, but here it's a little different because there's knight to e5, I think. But you know what? The results are the same, so it doesn't matter at all. It's fine. It's all good. White is now up the pawn.
Yeah, it's just a transposition, it seems. But I think White still has good chances to win here. The D pawn should be falling, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think the extra knight, because Black never got this H pawn, should be able to convert this.
It does feel like White is able to convert this.
Whoa.
Bishop takes e3. There's rook takes e4. Not a free knight.
Nice tactic here. Love rook a4. Rook a4 is just going to win that pawn.
Yeah. Now with rook knight versus rook pawn. Sorry, pawn rook knight versus rook pawn. This is a win for White. But what you definitely don't want to do is swap off your a pawn for this pawn because then it is a draw. Rook knight versus rook is a draw unless it's entitled Tuesday and they're holding up the entire lobby and we're waiting on that very last rook knight endgame to finish so we can all go on to our break.
These players could play entitled Tuesday.
I'm sure plenty of these players do play entitled Tuesday. They're probably well experienced.
Well, I didn't go king h4 to pick up this h pawn. I don't know how much it matters, but...
I don't think it matters that much. I think he just doesn't want to deal with any possibility of checks.
Yeah. Well, he's going to win the rook.
This is very solid, yes. Now it's completely winning.
He's hoping for stalemate?
I don't think there's any chance of stalemate. Well, I mean, I don't want to say any. I've jinxed players before, but you can just promote here. You can just promote here.
King g4. Let that pawn run.
Yeah.
So, all right, we do have one last game, Andre versus Mikhail, and you're mentioning Andre's opening choice of the Berlin it's maybe not the most exciting game, but I think that it's doing a great job serving its purpose, and
it's effective.
You definitely mentioned at the start of the stream asking Andre for his opening prep, and I can see now.
Wait. Sorry, I am going to cut you off there for a second because White is actually just winning. No, bishop to d5. If you take with the bishop, king takes, and then if you try to defend, you can just move the king over and push and promote. Yeah,
that looks pretty convincing, but
Andre's
it looks
like like.
He's still working on it.
He is working on it, but I'm much less convinced about this. This is very scary with your opponent also having a passed pawn.
So it's a bit of a race.
It is a bit of a race. Is he going to see g5? He does not see g5. Now there's a sacrifice, and it's going to go back towards a draw.
Was g5 winning?
g5 was winning, yes. g5 was winning. It's all right.
So now it's a draw. Wait, even with the bishop.
Oh, wait, no. Take that back, because now the bishop plays this with a tempo, and there's no more h1. So now white's winning again.
Oh my goodness.
Rook to e4 was a grave mistake.
Wow. Andre's gonna win with the Berlin. Let's go.
Andre is going to win with the Berlin.
So Antipov, his first loss of the season, coming to international master Andre from Dallas. I mean, what a performance from this Dallas team. They're not only proving us wrong, but they're taking the points convincingly against this powerhouse Miz-UT team.
That is pretty crazy. I mean, I was saying that their position was looking really equal since the very start, but Andre definitely put in a lot of work in this endgame and took advantage of Antipov's mistakes and converted it into a win. So, you know, we love to see that. We really do. Joe, would you like to summarize the round-by-round scores for us?
Yeah, well, Dallas, they've won the first half with a 1-point lead, and now they've won round 3 even more convincingly because they have a 3-point lead. So they won 3-1 that round, and now they've set themselves up for success in round 4. They only need 1 point to win the match. Miz-UT needs to sweep in order to win 8.5 to 7.5, but they are maybe allowed 1 draw. So if they win 3.5 to a half, they could force an overtime, but the odds of that is very, very low.
Indeed. And, you know, we both said that, we both predicted that Miz-UT was going to be the, I don't know, we both thought that Miz-UT would win, but it's looking like Miz-UT is actually getting, you know, into some pretty rough situations over here. And going into round 4, they are almost in a must-win situation on every board. So I'm pretty scared for them, but it has been absolutely amazing seeing UT Dallas crush it.
Yeah, and major props to them for being able to capitalize on Oparin's absence this week. I'm actually receiving word that Oparin is playing in the European Club Cup that ended today in Albania. So Oparin was unfortunately not the winner of that event as Magnus's team won. So
typical.
Not a big surprise there. Did you follow that event at all?
I did not follow that event, but thank you very much to Danya, Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky, for giving us a raid. We really appreciate it. And hello and welcome, everyone. We're currently here covering the Collegiate Chess League with Joe. And this is actually a really interesting tournament because we have a ton of really strong Grandmasters playing.
Yeah, everyone tuning in from Danya's channel, we are wrapping up this match. This is round 4 out of 4 if Miz-UT can't force overtime. But this isn't the only match for today. Definitely stay tuned because we have University of Chicago versus University of Virginia after this. And Chicago, we saw them lose to this Miz-UT team last week, but they have a great chance to beat Virginia since Chicago's got Awonder Liang and Praveen Balakrishnan, the 2 GMs. So that's going to be a really exciting match after this. But this match is still not over. We still have 4 games left. So do you think there's any chance that Miz-UT could come back and maybe get Dallas sleeping on this 4th round?
I think that currently it's looking a little unlikely. I mean, we are pretty early in on this last round so far, but Antipov losing his previous game is not the best, for the health of the team, because he is playing board one today in Oparin's absence. And a lot of the time, I would say when you're playing a team tournament, you're sort of looking to your board one for guidance and, like stability. So when board one doesn't offer that, things can get a little shaky in a team environment. But, we've seen a lot of crazy things happen. I want to take a quick look at the bird's eye view because this position is looking quite equal at this current moment. It's probably going to get spicy in a while. They're displaying this position with an exchange up for white at the expense of 2 pawns. So really, who's better here? It's just a very dynamic position. This is one of those situations where you can look at the game and be like, well, material is roughly equal, but there's a piece imbalance, which means that players are going to have to approach the position slightly differently. So we'll come back to this game, but bird's eye view really quickly. This is going to be an important match.
Yeah, it looks like we've got this 4th round. We got board 1 versus board 1. So we're just looking at that with Antipov and Kustov. We've got board 2 versus board 2. Andre versus Raja. All the way down to board 4 versus board 4, Josiah and Raul. I think that Dallas is probably going to be the favorite still to close it out, even though Mizzou's very strong. This is going to be their first loss of the season. But the good news is it is the regular season. So ultimately, the regular season determines the playoff standings. That doesn't mean that Mizzou's going to be eliminated or anything. They're just not going to be the top seed right after this. So still plenty of matches left to be played. I mean, Mizzou could still end up over Dallas in the standings, depending on how the rest of the season goes. So this is only week 3 of 7. Still over half the season left to be played. And I think that Dallas is going to be really excited to take this win because the seeding matters in the playoffs. In fact, if you are the top 2 team in the division, you actually get a bye in the first week. So that'll be really good if Dallas can hold on to this lead over Mizzou going into the end of the regular season.
Some expert analysis of this current situation given to us by Joe. I definitely hear that. And I think, once again, every team will lose a match at some point.
That's not true.
Oh, that's not true? You don't think so? Who do you think is not going to lose a match?
Maybe
at all?
Slew.
Maybe
honestly.
Slew? You think Slew won't lose a single match? You want to place a bet on that?
I mean, if I were to bet, then yeah, I would definitely take that stance.
Okay, we can bet 10 subs. I predict that Slew will at least lose 1 match before playoffs.
See, here's the thing, though. I think they'll win every match if they, bring their team. Maybe there's some events like in St. Louis that like their top players can't play with. Like this is what happens right now when Mizzou's top board can't play, right? They lose to Dallas. Like not saying that Dallas couldn't beat them with Oparin playing, but it's a huge factor for sure. So I would think it's a safe bet that Slew wins every game, but
okay,
it's a long season, so I don't know. I'm taking some risk here.
You are definitely taking some risk here. I mean, do we see any of the players here taking any risks? I actually really want to take a look at Ivan's position. I think this is a very... It's not the most interesting position, but this is a position that we see very often in Grandmaster games. This is the Maradzi bind coming in from white, and it is categorized by this pawn structure, really, mostly this one. And black's position might feel a little bit passive in this situation, but it is actually one of those games where black gives up the center at the very start. And they're like, hey, you can put all your pawns in the center, but watch out. I am going to strike back at a later time, at a later date, and you better be ready for it. So I really like these types of positions because I think being able to play it well as either color is a sign of being a good chess player, which both of these players are. And
that being said, where's the break for black? When you said it's going to come at some point, but my question to you is when and where?
When and where is the best question you can ask. So right now, we have the rook on the d file, and black is basically just gearing up to play d5. He can't play right now because white has way too many pieces on it. But this is essentially what black is just going to do the whole game, is just try to push d5.
So you answered where? So now I have to ask when.
When? That's a very good question. I think the idea will be to swap off some of the pieces, maybe play b5. So after you're able to play b5, pushing off the c-pawn, whether or not, sorry, that was an atrocious arrow, whether or not the pawn takes. Okay, there we go. We got b5 in. If it takes, then it lessens the pressure on being able to push d5. So now, yeah, it's just like the sequence of moves that you have to do beforehand before you're able to really break through in the center. But this is entirely black's idea. It's a very simple idea. People are saying he's not playing d5 anytime soon. He's playing a next move. Okay, or not.
I think you're right. It's almost ready. Like queen b7's there, but I do think white has a good opportunity here to maybe put some counter pressure on this b5 pawn, which is exactly what white's doing.
Yeah, and black is going to play rook b8 to defend the b5 pawn. I think he actually missed a very key opportunity to play d5 a few moves ago, to finally relieve all of this pressure that's sort of pushed on his position, and also his lack of space. But now that he has missed that opportunity, it's a little harder to just simply push d5. d5 here does not quite work. It's not atrocious, but there's e takes, and then you don't really want to play pawn takes, because now you just have an isolated pawn on d5, and you don't want an isolated pawn in this position specifically, because the bishop can just plant on d4. So much harder position to be playing d5 in. And now, actually, now that, like, you know, remember how I was saying playing d5 is so important? Because black doesn't have any control of the center, and because he hasn't pushed up d5, white is just getting to push b5, and there's no bishop takes because of rook b2. The bishop is pinned, so you are going to actually lose the bishop if you play this. If you move your queen to the side, like queen to a6, you can just swing your other rook over, and because this rook on b8 is not defended, this bishop on b5 cannot move away, and therefore it is lost.
Wow.
Wow.
It's a good eye, and look at those A and B pawns just rolling up the board. And I'm thinking maybe even bishop b6 and then a5, or maybe you could do a5 like immediately.
a5 immediately would be pretty cool, but I like bishop b6. I think you mentioned this, and then a5 after is even stronger. So I kind of love it. Yeah. This is really well played by Ivan. He's playing classic how to counter the Marazzi. Well, actually, he's the one playing the Marazzi, so I guess how to counter black's passive pawn structure.
Yeah, so maybe Luca could take a lesson from you on how to play d5.
Well, I personally dislike these positions as black. I cannot play the Marazzi as black. Well, now he finally gets d5, but it's so late. The problem is that white has already taken over the entire king side. Queen side. So now that there's already two pawns pushed up, there's nothing for him to be even afraid of. The pawn can't push to d4. The queen can come in. There's just so much going on here for white. It's just looking like such a good position.
So Luca was finally able to play d5 because white brought the rook to the b file, because I think black was threatening to maybe take the knight on c3 and then take the pawn on b5. So the rook defends b5, but Ivan brings the bishop back, blocking the pawn, trying to trade off that really strong dark square bishop, but maybe losing the a pawn.
Yeah, losing the a pawn is not the worst though, because I think, you know, obviously you don't want to lose your connected pass pawns, but there's always the chance of being able to take on d5. Although now I feel like it is getting much more towards just an equal position. There's nothing so as much for white to push for.
I think Luca's really happy to trade off that bishop because the a pawn is so valuable. I don't know why Ivan wanted to trade off the outside passers for these center pawns when the center pawns look stuck and the outside pass pawns looked unstoppable.
Indeed. Well, there's rook to e2, and, you know, he's still going to try to make something happen. There's the potential of rook e5, rook to g5, going for the g7 pawn, but I don't think there's going to be anything
Yeah, he goes
specific
passive,
here.
defending the B pawn. I think this could be a good chance for Luca to kind of swing things back in his favor.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, how about we take a look at the bird's eye view? We have some exciting other games going on. I think particularly board 2. Both players are in a time scramble right now.
Absolutely. Board 2.
Yeah, Raja versus Andre, your friend. He has
My
less
friend,
than
indeed.
10 seconds.
I mean, they
They
both
both
have
do.
less than 10 seconds, and the position is crazy. I mean, white is down a knight, but has connected pass pawns in exchange for it. However, this is a pretty significant material disadvantage. But as you can tell, the position doesn't really feel like white's playing down a knight, right? White is still pushing. White is actually the one that is threatening these moves, like queen to g5. He's got these ideas with queen to d5. He might want to push c6 at some point. Black is actually just trying to hold these pawns so that they don't just push all the way down the board.
Yeah, I mean, I love the queen on c4 because black's queen was just shuffling and now can't.
Oh, well,
There's so much happening right now. Pawn's pushing. That's winning.
There's so much happening.
He's trading.
yes.
Rook takes. King back. Defending
wants
this.
to-
He wants to play, b5, b6. But then the c pawn becomes weak, so I'm not sure how exactly to break through from there.
I think this is just going to be a pretty clear win for white because the
Yeah.
pawns have reached the 6th rank, and when pawns reach the 6th rank, they're actually stronger than a whole rook. Because if you have a rook and no king in front, it's just they just completely run you over. And even in the case when there is a king right in front, white is able to move his king up here. If he does so, he does so.
So he
Don't
brings the
forget, there
king
are
in.
2 seconds increment for every single move. So there's actually a benefit to repeating the position once or twice, but never 3 times if you're winning.
Third time is not the charm in this
Yeah.
instance.
Third
All
time,
right.
not the charm.
A rook threatening mate, so that forces the rook back. Some more checks. Oh, threatening a skewer plus mate.
Plus mate.
Oh, and there's a skewer. So you're going to get one or the other. Oh, but you can't
Okay.
stop the G pawn.
But that's okay because you're going to promote into a queen and you're still going to have your rook.
So is there perpetual?
No more checks here.
The checks run out immediately.
Yeah, you said it, you asked it, and then it was immediately no more checks. Sorry, Joe.
It's okay. This is still kind of chaotic, but it looks like white's going to be able to convert this very shortly. In fact, mate in 1.
Yep.
Right there. So Raja ending on a good note. And most of our games have already finished. So let's take a look at bird's eye view and see what has happened so far. It looks like Dallas got their point that they needed to win. But the top 2 boards, dubs for Mizzou. I mean, if Josiah could have held on there, maybe there would have been some exciting finish here. But we still have one final game left. If we want to tune in back to Luca versus Ivan and see how the
Indeed.
match finishes, the final score.
Would you say this is an upset, Joe?
Well, if you looked at the standings, especially the preseason standings, the answer is definitively a yes. But obviously Mizzou, with Oparin playing in Albania, a big player to be missing, they are going to take the L this week for the first time this season, and Dallas is going to remain undefeated, a perfect 3-0.
Very impressive, for sure.
Still a lot of chess left to be played. Can white hold this as a draw?
Yeah, this is a draw. So the trick is to simply...
Just leave the knight there.
Yeah, just leave the knight. You do this little cube formation in the end game. Yeah, but it's always a draw when you play pawn, knight, as long as it's not a corner.
Yeah, so we have the final score of 9-7, which is exactly what I predicted, except in the opposite direction.
Right,
So
and
Dallas.
yeah, that's like, terrifying to me because we've seen Mizzou play so well, and they just lost University of Texas to Dallas. So like, who is really going to be taking away the Collegiate Chess League?
Yeah, well, Dallas, they're perfect so far, but they still have 4 games left. They took down one of the powerhouse teams, the number 2 seed, Mizzou. But they still have to get through University of Texas and Rio Grande Valley, their neighboring team, as well as SLU, which I think could definitely win the whole season, maybe even sweep the regular season if they can have all their players playing every week. But we're going to find out. Lots of matches left, including one later today. So, Nemo, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we actually go on a quick break, first of all, congratulations to University of Texas Dallas that we have seen play amazing chess. But also, don't forget, if you are in college, the Chess.com College Ambassador Program is back. So if you're a college student who wants to help grow chess on your college campus, join the team and get the backing of Chess.com at your school. Benefits include diamond memberships, exclusive Chess.com merch, career opportunities, and even meeting chess celebrities. For all of the details, you can use Command CAP, that's Command CAP, in the Chess.com chat. So thank you guys all very much for supporting Chess.com and the Collegiate Chess League. And we are going to be back in a bit.
Welcome to Check with Mates, the only podcast by chess pieces for chess pieces. I'm a rook, and I'm a pawn. Let me ask you this. You ever feel like you're undervalued? Absolutely. Everyone's like, oh, pawns, they can only move one square, they can't go backwards. Maybe we don't want to go backwards, you know? Maybe we're focused on the future. Yeah, I feel that. Sometimes I wonder why we're even protecting a king. He wasn't elected through a democratic process. Maybe I want to be king. Dude, I think about that every day. Yeah. Okay, real quick, shout out to our sponsor, HelloFresh. I don't use them because I'm a chess piece, but I'm sure they're great.
Hey everybody, it's Danny here, and as you may know, Chess.com and Chessable are now one, and I'm here to show you how you can make your Chess.com and Chessable one in just a few clicks. To start, let's log in and connect our Chess.com account. I just scroll right here above the browser and click Login. Scroll down and click Continue with Chess.com. Now, if you're already logged into Chess.com, it's just going to ask you if you want to approve that connection. I'm going to say yes, sir. But after approving, it'll bring you right back to the Chessable homepage. Now, the Puzzle Connect feature can be found under Tools, and you click Puzzle Connect. Now, what that does after you type in your username is it's going to pull positions from the games you played on Chess.com, create your very own personalized Chessable course, and then quiz you with the positions where you may have missed the best move. And the more you play on Chess.com, the more games it will have to quiz you as long as your account stays connected. It's pretty sweet, and it's going to help you get better learning from the mistakes in your games. Yes, this is a pro feature at Chessable, but if you go to chessable.com/link, you can get 30 days of Pro for free.
Welcome to Check with Mates.
Classified trading is a game really that you're playing with competitors and basically every market participant in the world. My path, I came in as a poker player, but I think that the main thing that everybody has in common is a sense of competitiveness and interest in gaming and strategy in general. Yes, you can actually use gaming skills for your career and for something to do on a day-to-day basis.
Welcome back, everyone. We just watched UT Dallas take down Mizzou with a 9-7 score, but now we have a very exciting interview segment coming up before our next match for today. I'm very honored to welcome my former manager at Chess.com and our current director of college growth, Stephen Fazy. Stephen, you have such an impressive resume from your work previously to this job. You've been working here for just a few months, but I already feel and see all the amazing work that you're doing. All the movements that we're doing in college growth are super exciting, and I can't wait to ask you some questions. Really quick on Stephen's background, he was the executive director of digital strategy working at Sacred Heart University, which is one of the teams actually playing in the Collegiate Chess League in one of our lower divisions. And he was actually an advisor to the chess club there. So Stephen, without further ado, let's dive right in. I have to ask you first and foremost, your title, Director of College Growth. What exactly does that mean, and what do you do at Chess.com?
Yeah, so I'm responsible for the teams that are growing chess across college campuses, as well as overseeing our college ambassador program. So all of our amazing students who are looking to help us spread chess and spread the love of chess across college campuses, that all kind of falls underneath my leadership, and it's been a blast. It's been a blast doing it the last 5 months or so. Yeah.
Awesome. And I know that you've been working on a lot so far. Obviously, it's awesome to have you here on this interview presented by SIG. That's one of the newer programs and projects that we've been working on. But are there any upcoming projects that maybe you're excited to share about?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked, actually. So I don't know how familiar all of our viewers are with the Blitz Champ series, but basically we've been finding all of these collegiate football players who have, raised their hand and let us know, like, hey, we play chess. Like, it helps us bond as a team or strategize before we go out and play. And we've been able to get some amazing chess tournaments going with them. And actually, just on Tuesday, I'll be flying down to UT Austin, and for our next installment of Blitz Champs, where we have 8 UT Austin football players who will be challenging each other across the board, or on the board rather. Very, very excited for that, and excited for more Blitz Champs series to come. So stay tuned. We're cooking them up all the time, and that has been my most proud project that we've been able to bring across the finish line since I've been on the team.
Blitz Champs is so exciting. I know we've already done a few, and we've got more on the way. So you've been doing an amazing job there. That's so cool to be able to integrate kind of the sports world and the chess world, and especially getting athletes to play. It's so fun and exciting to watch. And that's really cool that we have UT Austin coming up. So we just watched UT Dallas play. UT Austin's got their football team involved. So there's so much happening in the college chess world. And I'm sure it's an exciting time for students to be watching and playing as well. But to bring it back to the career segment, I wanted to ask, what kind of tips and just general advice do you have for any students that are watching right now and are interested in like how they can maybe utilize their chess experience and their skills in gaming to maybe translate that to their careers?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's so much that just naturally translates from somebody playing chess and obsessing over chess the way we all do to their career, building their career or starting out in their career endeavors. Just like playing chess, I would say think strategically, make your moves intentionally, and most importantly, have fun. If you're not having fun in your work, it's going to be hard to be successful. It's going to be hard to keep progressing, much like chess. So those would be kind of my 3 tips.
Amazing. So that was perfect. Thank you so much, Stephen. And I wish we had more time to talk more about how awesome you are and everything else. Obviously, you do like jiu-jitsu, and you got like these guitars on the wall, and you play in like a cover band, and yeah. So if you guys want to join our college ambassador program, you can actually work closer with Stephen and get to know a lot more about him. But thank you, Stephen. That's gonna be a wrap on this first interview, but we do have another interview coming up. So stay tuned. We're going to have Nemo interviewing a guest actually from SIG. So stay tuned before the next interview and match.
Bye now.
I'd classify trading as a game really that you're playing with competitors and basically every market participant in the world. My path, I came in as a poker player, but I think that the main thing that everybody has in common is a sense of competitiveness and interest in gaming and strategy in general. Yes, you can actually use gaming skills for your career and for something to do on a day-to-day basis.
Well, Joe absolutely killed it with Stephen on the last interview, but welcome to interview number 2 with career opportunities for chess enthusiasts presented by SIG. Let's welcome in Carmelo Pichon. Carmelo, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And please tell us what you do at SIG and also your personal connection to chess.
Sure. Nice to meet you, Nemo. Nice to meet everybody watching. Professionally, I'm a software engineer that supports quantitative analysts in market making trading in the equity option space. So quants have to digest billions of records of information in order to find insights about trades from yesterday, the ways we could have done better and made more money in the markets. So they don't have time to screw around with all that data. Instead, they need software engineers to provide pipelines that kind of simplify the ability for them to load data and analyze it in an easy capacity.
I love that. I mean, I'm just taking notes here, honestly, because I used to be super into all the quant stuff. But I hear you watch Hikaru and Chessbra on Twitch. What have you learned? What are your go-to openings? What do you like about chess?
I love everything about chess. One of my favorite things about chess is how easy it is to learn the basics. But then you eventually realize that you don't know anything about it. Even if you can do combination analysis, it's still not enough, right? Like opening theory alone can take years of mastery for you to even reach a level where someone like Hikaru wouldn't just completely laugh at you in the first 5 moves. One reason why I love Chessbra and Hikaru is they do a great job of making chess instructional while entertaining. And they also will focus on just one thing for a long time. Like, they'll do like a speed run of an opening. And you can watch them do that speed run all the way from 500 level to like 2,500. And that is like a great way to understand like the ins and outs of any particular opening. My go-to openings traditionally used to just be like the Spanish and the Sicilian, but lately I'm kind of crazy. And I focus on the Scandinavian defense with Queen D6 variation as black, and as white I do like something like the Ready or maybe even the Bird if it's like a blitz game.
Well, it definitely sounds like you have learned a lot from Chessbra and Hikaru. So what tips can you share with students watching on, how to use their gaming skills in order to advance and excel in their careers?
There's a lot of obvious things. Everyone's going to say, oh, like the art of sacrifice, that applies to real life. But there's so many other things that chess can kind of generalize you into being successful in real life. I'd say one of the most obvious ones is in the trading world, it's highly competitive and extremely hard to be good at it. And that's just like chess. It's easy to get involved and understand the basics. Oh, how do I make money in trading? Oh, I buy low, I sell high, right? In chess, it's like, how do I win? Well, I just take someone's king, I capture their king. But the subtleties to get there and the hard work and perseverance to reach a high level in any domain is kind of what a great thing that chess kind of brings to the surface.
I think that's an excellent answer, and I really do hope that it inspires some students out there to pursue a career in chess or at SIG. So make sure you guys are using your gaming skills in your career and apply at sig.com/chess. Thank you so much, Carmelo, for that amazing response. I love to hear it, and best of luck for your journey at SIG and also for your chess. And we will actually be going right back to board assignments as the Collegiate Chess League will be going into our second match of the day. Joe, how do you feel about University of Chicago versus University of Virginia?
Such a good interview. It's crazy. We got to go straight from that, straight back into the match. I think Chicago's the heavy favorite. They got the two hard-hitting GMs, board 1, board 2, but you can't sleep on Virginia's top boards. We got Jason and Owen. So they're also both titled, but obviously not GMs. So I got to give it to Chicago on this one.
I definitely agree with you. I think having grandmasters on your team is such a big game changer. I mean, we saw Mizzou in the previous match actually lose their match, very likely because their top grandmaster, Oparin, was not playing. And they still had a lot of other grandmasters, but, you know, it was still very tough for them. But we are going to see University of Chicago face off against University of Virginia very, very soon over here. We have seen Awonder play. Any particular, you know, standouts to you, Joe?
Well, I think one important note is that Chicago actually added a sub for this week, a board 4. So last week we saw, I believe, their board 4 have a tough time. I think his name is Miles Brown. But now they've added National Master Cole Moses to the team because Chicago didn't even start classes by the start of this season. So now that school's underway for them, they got some new reinforcements, so to say. So we've got the bird's eye view here. The games have begun, starting with Awonder versus Jason, board 4 from Virginia.
Oh my. We have Awonder coming in with an obscure opening. I think he just played knight to c6, b4 to trade off the bishop on d3. Now, I know that Awonder is a grandmaster, but I cannot recommend you guys to play similar to Awonder. You know, he knows what he's doing. If you try to play like this, you're going to get crushed. And as you can tell from the eval bar right now, what inspired Awonder to play this opening?
If anyone knew why Awonder plays the openings the way he does, then I think Awonder would have a little bit less charm. I think that no one could ever truly predict what opening Awonder is going to play next. So, yeah, I can't wait to see how Jason's going to play against this. So far, It looks like he's doing a good job. He's preventing Awonder from castling, which can be annoying. But queens are off, so castling's not that important, but it is definitely a hindrance to his development. But Awonder he's probably going to work some grandmaster magic at some point and show us how it's done.
Yes, I have full respect for Awonder just shuffling his knight back and forth the first few moves, letting white have that wonderful development advantage. But it does look like white is actually going to go into this endgame about equal. So, you know, it's always crazy watching top level or really high rated chess players play against folks a little lower rated, because the amount of skill they have in the middle game part and the end game part is just truly crazy. I feel like anybody can really learn an opening, but in order to play the rest of your chess game well, it takes years and years and years of study. And it shows for Awonder. I mean, he is a grandmaster. He is 3,000 rated on Chess.com. Very strong player overall.
Yeah, and I think there was a match a year or two ago, maybe more, but I think the U Chicago team, like every board, played a bomb cloud. And they still won.
Yeah. That happens sometimes, you know?
Yeah, it's always fun to see the U Chicago team. They definitely made themselves a name in the league, which you love to see. And no exception this season. But maybe Jason can make Awonder pay with this opening. I don't think so, but definitely Black's position isn't something to strive for. But Awonder does have his time advantage despite playing an unfamiliar opening.
Well, I don't know if he thinks that. I feel like with the confidence, once again, for everyone who is watching, yes, Awonder really started off the game playing knight to a6, followed by just knight to b8, followed by knight to a6, followed by knight to b8, followed by knight to a6. Yes, he really did this. But, you know, I think he played it with so much confidence. I mean, he's here with 4 minutes 55 seconds on the clock. He's basically at exactly 5 minutes. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. Not saying that he's in the type to prepare before a match or anything, but he just has no fear right now. He's just
And to Awonder's credit, this is board 1 versus board 4 in the first round. If he were to do this later on in the match, that would be a different story. And I don't think he can afford to do this, especially against someone like Jason Moorfield, who we saw actually take down Mizzou's top board Grigoriy Oparin back in week 1.
Indeed, yes. Well, let's take a quick bird's eye view because this is an endgame and they're going to be here for a little bit. I am sure that Awonder has the endgame under control, but for now, White's position is actually looking very solid. So, Jason can definitely play a good endgame. No doubt about that.
I kind of want to look at Cole Moses on board 4. He looks to be doing well against Virginia's top board, Jason, and that would be a huge upset. Like, we're really relying on Jason for the Virginia team to kind of get some points on the board, but if Cole can have an upset win in round 1, like, that's going to be not a good start for this Virginia team.
Yeah, after C takes B4, I am... this is a very equal position, but Black is going to go for this pawn. I don't love White's double pawns here, and definitely think that if you're going into endgame, Black is going to be the better one.
I'm sorry, is that a green screen, or is he, like, actually on campus?
I can't tell. It looks like he's just on campus. It looks like he is enjoying the nice fall weather and playing on campus in his quad. I don't think that's a green screen at all. You see the leaves moving behind? I think he's just actually playing on campus.
That is such a move. Like, oh my goodness, I love it.
I mean, today we have seen Oparin, not Oparin. We have seen Mihail Antipov play literally from the U.S. Chess Championships, and now we're seeing Cole Moses play, in his quad. I love it.
This guy, no fear, literally called in, subbed in like last night, like less than 24 hours before the match. And the dude is rocking it. He's got the Zoom call ready. He's like, I'm just going to play, probably in between class or something. Like, holy smokes.
Yeah, I respect that a lot. Don't forget, these are all college students. So they are not only committed to chess, but they are also committed to the grind of school.
Yeah, maybe next week we'll see some college players playing from like their frat house or something. Who knows?
I would love to see that. That would be amazing. It does so happen that I believe all of the colleges in this year's Collegiate Chess League are from the U.S., at least in Division 1. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but the Collegiate Chess League is actually open internationally.
Yeah. University of Toronto has played in the past, so we've got a lot of Canadian schools, but we even have...
it's Saturday, Joe. They don't have class.
True. That's actually why we do it, but, some people, they've got other stuff going on, like, I see some people walking around in the background here and there. But, I mean, okay, can we talk about, like, his camera quality and, like, the lighting is perfect.
Why does he have such a crisp camera quality? He was like ready for this. Yeah, he was ready for this moment. He was like, "Yes, I can finally use this fancy new webcam I got for Christmas."
He must have been like, "Put me in, coach. Like, I'm ready." Like, literally called in he wasn't on the roster like yesterday.
Okay, well, I'm glad that he's here now. Unfortunately, his position might not love it as much, but that's okay.
It's an awkward position, right? Like, Black can't castle. White has bishop takes b5 with check at some point.
Right.
It's kind of funny. I feel like if I were White, I would do that, bring the bishop out and try to castle, but you can't forget, White has already moved the king. Thankfully, we're playing online, so it wouldn't let them. But I definitely have heard some stories OTB where people have gotten away with that.
I mean, honestly, can you really blame them? It's so easy to forget sometimes,
Yeah, I was playing a lot last week, and at the company meetup, and a lot of people were playing illegal moves because, us at Chess.com love to play online, and the computer won't let us get away with it. But over the board, maybe we can sneak a couple of moves here and there.
All right, who's the worst defender? We want to hear names. Give us the deets, Joe.
Well, it's interesting you ask because every year we do a tournament actually with all the staff. So I think out of over 200 people, I came about 40th. But I don't know who the worst, it's not about who the worst is, right? It's
about who's the best? Okay.
Yeah, and usually it's Hess that wins, but this year he had a draw against one of our international masters.
Wow.
Yeah, so tough teams at Chess.com. They're really strong. But I think next year we'll probably have another section for unrated people.
Okay.
There was only 6 rounds. It was a Swiss.
Yeah.
But, yeah, back to the college chess. I mean, some of these people might eventually become staff. I know I was a college chess player at one point, and now I'm staff. And you were mentioning going to the meetup. Maybe you'll want to be staff one day.
I mean, I feel like being a commentator for Chess.com is not that far off from being staff. And I had briefly floated the idea of, creators also coming over at some point. But I like what Chess.com has going on with the staff meetup. Maybe one year you guys can do a longer event and we can just come in for the tournament itself.
Just compete.
Just compete, yes.
Yeah.
I personally love to compete. And
you just want to go and beat people up in chess. I get it.
Yes, but I'm going to get beat up myself by Hess, So
you just want to play Hess.
I do really want to play Hess.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. He's a wonderful person and wonderful chess player.
We could maybe take a look at the bird's eye view. As much as I love Cole's campus view, we do have 2 results in. Win for Virginia on their board 2, Owen McCoy, and a win for Praveen, the board 2 for Chicago. So that leaves us with 2 games left.
It does, indeed. And I actually wanted to take a quick look back at Awander's game because, as you guys all know, Awander spent 5 moves in the opening shuffling his knight. So let's see how he is doing after basically starting the game with 5 tempi down. And by the way, guys, tempi are really important in chess, okay? Each tempo is 1 move. So Awonder essentially gave his opponent the odds of just being 5 moves ahead, told his opponent, you are allowed to do whatever you want with your 5 moves, and I'm going to do whatever I want with my 5 moves, and let's face off in the middle game and the end game. And that's, a very grandmaster strategy in a way. He avoided... I know you're scoffing at this, but there is a valid point to avoiding opening theory and just going into the middle game and the end game where Awonder probably has much more experience against Jason compared to Jason, and just being like, hey, I think I can play this end game better. And right now, it's looking like Awonder is playing this end game a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's necessarily grandmaster strategy or just a Awonder strategy.
It's probably just a Awonder strategy, yeah. I think Awonder's unique.
Yeah, I think Awonder is definitely crushing it right now. He just won a piece. That bishop was trapped on a3. So the question now is, how do you... Whoa!
What? Wait, did Awonder just blunder a rook?
Well, he blundered... He goes for the fork, but he forgot his rook was hanging.
Well, no, he just took a knight. Oh, I guess he was going for the... Yeah, okay, so you're right. He went for the fork and just forgot his rook was hanging.
So the Awonder blunder, but can he still get the dub here?
Oh my gosh, I think he's still going to get the dub.
The answer is yes.
I cannot believe it right now. I cannot believe this. Really? Awonder's level of... I don't want to say disrespect, because he's not trying to disrespect his opponent. He genuinely just blundered there. But the fact that Awonder can get away with this is insane.
You can't keep getting away with it. Oh, the knight check.
Oh my god.
That's
oh,
it.
No.
That's game.
Yeah, now the rook is hanging. Oh, wow.
So Awonder giving 5 move odds plus rook odds. But what he didn't give is time odds, and I think that's what allowed him to still remain in the game.
Right. I think so too.
Let's see. He doesn't play mate. That you were saying
Oh,
that you were
ouch.
saying
Okay,
he
you know
wasn't
what?
disrespecting his opponent, but maybe he is.
Maybe he is disrespect. He's actually probably debating right now. How much can I get away with this? Like,
No,
oh, his
no,
opponent just
Jason-
decides like,
Jason's
no, thank you.
Done
I'm out.
being a Wonder's opponent, and I don't blame him. But
Yeah.
we do have that board 4 and board 1 game for Virginia, and let's take a quick dive into that before we have the round end.
Yeah, actually, so wait, we tune in and White just instantly started winning because Black is, I don't know how Black got into this endgame down a pawn, but Moses in his college quad just won, gives that fist pump as Jason just shakes his head.
Jason's smiling too. I wonder if you can see him in the Zoom call.
That's so funny.
But wow, I mean, I hope people are watching Moses on campus right now, just like thinking, what on earth is this guy doing? He's playing in a collegiate chess match. Anyways, Chicago with a 2-point victory in round 1. They're leading 3-1. So an upset win from Chicago's new board 4 is the difference maker there. How do you feel about it, Nemo?
I mean, I don't know how I feel about Moses winning his game, but I know what I feel about Awonder winning his game. I mean, can we just go back and talk about the levels of, I don't know what you want to call it. You can call it disrespect. You can call it Grandmaster energy, whatever you want to call it. But Awonder started the game being down 5 moves out of choice, not because anybody forced him to, not because anybody said, hey, you're 1,000 points higher rated, so you got to do this. No, he just decided to start the game 5 moves down. And then got into this middle game, got into the end game, and was like, coming back. He had a better position. Proceeds to blunder a rook and still come back to win. I mean, what is going on there, Joe?
You're going to have to ask Awonder himself, and maybe if we stay tuned for the end, we could have a player interview. So that would be fun. You can ask him directly. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I can just ask him directly. I just want to ask, hey, did you, was this all planned? Is this just your play style? What's going on over here? Can you recommend playing 5 moves down to all of your students?
I think Awonder just woke up and chose violence today.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But of course, huge congratulations to Moses for simply winning his endgame. That was wonderfully played by him. Very big upset too.
Yeah, that's actually such a huge game changer for the entire season if you think about it. Like Chicago, they've been a contender in the past, but maybe lost a key player here or there to really be the difference maker in some of the top matches. But if you have a board 4 who can just sub in mid-season and take down a top player like Jason Moorfield, that brings you Chicago back up in contention with honestly any team.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's looking like Awonder is using his strategy again. This knight on B3 actually got there from G1, so we love to see that.
Odds that it goes to C1.
Very high. I will take the over on that.
Really?
Yes. But I think right now he has knight to C3 and going for the D pawn. I don't think Awonder is the type to troll once he recognizes that he can get the advantage. He just does the opening moves for fun, and then after that he's back on Grandmaster mindset. He's back on that grind set. He just wants to win, and I respect that a lot.
I see him smiling and stretching over there. I'm sure he's coming up with something dubious. Look at that.
Something devilish. He has the most devilish grin on his face. He's just like, you don't know what I'm coming up with now.
He's like, yeah, I don't even know if he knows. He's probably wondering what is the goofiest move I could play in this position.
Yeah. It's great. I love his playstyle. It's very fun.
No, it's definitely entertaining. I think that he takes something that maybe a lot of people will take very seriously, and he gives it a lighthearted spin to it. And you never know how is he going to start the game, how is he going to finish the game, right? When's he going to flip that switch, right? Because in the playoffs, it's definitely a time to be more serious. In the regular season, like the standings maybe don't matter as much. Like obviously Chicago is the heavy favorite to win this match, so it's always fun to watch and spectate Awonder's games, and love to see his smile there and his play style as well. And so I think he's gonna show us a lot of entertaining games throughout the season.
Yeah, for sure. I really, really like Awonder's way of playing chess, mostly because I think it adds this element that chess can be fun. I think a lot of the time when we're thinking about chess, we have a lot of people that are a bit more sticklers for the rules and, you have to play the Berlin, or this is the most popular opening. Why aren't you playing the opening that Nepo played last week? Because that's what everybody should be doing. And I think Awonder's just out there like, hey, today, let's give our opponent 5 free moves, blunder a rook, let's see if I can win. And of course, he's at a skill level where he is able to do that, and we might not be at that skill level, but I think it's still really great seeing a top-level chess player showcase that chess can be really, really fun. You don't just have to be in the lab studying for 7 hours a day. So yeah, huge props to Awonder for that one.
And Awonder is also the team captain. So for any of you that are thinking like maybe he's not taking it seriously or anything, like it's a lot of responsibility to not only play and be the top board, but also to be the captain of the team. He's responsible for registering the teams. He's responsible for bringing in Cole Moses as a sub, which a large part is thanks to his recruiting, right? So it's a lot to run a club as a student and a player and all of the above. So it's really cool to see him, making a fun situation out of a match that otherwise maybe isn't going to take as much of his attention, right? As opposed to playing like a top board on like a team like Mizzou, which I'm sure when we're going to see it, we're going to see a different kind of level to Awonder's game. And I'm really excited for that when it happens. But for now, this is the Awonder that we're getting. And I don't think there could be a more exciting playstyle from him.
I 100% agree. And his position is actually turning out to look really, really good here. After, I'm not even sure what black can play in this position, but e5 is going to come in, opening up this bishop. The rooks are going to come in. Black is actually in a lot of trouble in this position because his rook is like firmly defending this pawn. He can bring the rook over. I don't even think Awonder needed to go for this queen trait, but swapping off the queen's really easy because then he's going to get another free pawn. And anyways, Awonder's position is just excellent here. He has nothing to be afraid of.
I feel like when Awonder switches styles, like that's gotta also be kind of nerve-wracking for his opponent, right? It's like, am I gonna get the goofy Awonder or am I gonna get the grandmaster Awonder? And like sometimes you see both, and like right now, you don't know like what kind of move is gonna hit you, and like it makes you guess and second guess, and like you're not so confident in how you're gonna play. Like look at the clocks, right? He's got 450. He's only used 10 seconds of his time. Nicolas is about to go under a minute.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you're also playing against a grandmaster, it can be extremely scary, especially if they start out by just shuffling pieces around or, moving. Bishop to e4. What a wonderful move by Awonder. Queen takes e4. There's queen takes f3 with queen to g7 checkmate. So, I mean,
he gets that queen trade he wanted.
Yeah.
And he could win a pawn or more. I mean, this is just solid grandmaster play. And speaking of grandmaster play, we could take a look at the bird's eye view because we have a results coming in from Chicago's other grandmaster, Praveen Balakrishnan, getting a win against Virginia's board 4.
Yes, for sure. And I do see that Owen has a slightly better position against Cole Moses, but we also haven't really seen much of Yili Wen, I believe. So do you want to jump over to Jason versus Yili?
Let's go for it. We've got board 3 and board 4 that we haven't looked at yet in this round. I think Awonder's going to be able to convert his win pretty convincingly. But these other boards, it's actually really interesting. Jason kind of had an upset loss in the first round, so he's going to try to make the most of this board 3 matchup for him.
Yeah, for sure. I actually don't love Jason's position at this current time. I think he's trying to push for this attack, but it's feeling like after knight takes g5, he might want to play h takes g5 just for the chance of having this idea on the king side. But, oh, he's going for it, so maybe my prediction will come true. However, I was going to say, I'm a little worried about this because it's not very sound. I think he's trying to push for a win as the board 1 for Team Virginia, but I'm not sure if that's the best play in this exact position.
I think he has to push for the win. Like,
you think he has to? Okay.
This is round 2. So rounds 3 and 4, guess who he's up against?
Ooh, he's going to be up against the Grandmasters, and I don't know. I guess I would rather push for a win against the 2000. So I do like this plan, though, but Black is coming in with queen to g4, basically stopping this king to g2, rook h1, g4 idea. However, White can actually play f3.
Yeah, I like king g2 because it preps f3, and I think even though his position is not great, his time management is spectacular.
Yeah. Time management is key when it comes to blitz matches because with 3 minutes 30 on the clock, you're able to spend that time to look for a lot more tactics and a lot more plans. Whereas when you only have 40 seconds, you're sort of at the mercy of like, hey, I hope my opponent doesn't do anything too crazy because I'm not going to have time to look for the moves.
Yeah, so he's taking that H-file, like you mentioned. Awonder did finish his game, so that's 2 wins for the top 2 boards from Chicago. Nothing surprising there. And it's down to the bottom 2 boards for Chicago to close out this round. And we haven't taken a look just yet at Cole versus Owen, so I wanted to maybe take a look over at those games because they are both national masters. And I mean, I kind of want to see. We haven't looked at Owen yet at all, so maybe we'll get their cameras on.
And they're both very intently looking at the screen. Cole Moses still in his courtyard.
I mean, it's a beautiful courtyard to be in.
Yeah.
He might need to get some sunglasses, though. It's kind of bright out.
He definitely does look like he's squinting a little. Wait, sorry, what?
What just happened?
Wait. What? Why was Cole's first choice queen takes f4? I mean, I get that he gets 2 minor pieces for it, but I'm still very shocked.
Botez Gambit?
Well, it's not quite a Botez Gambit because he did it on purpose, right? Well, is it still a Botez Gambit if you're trying
if you know
to
about it?
If you know about it? Yeah, that's my question.
That's funny.
I thought it's only a Botez Gambit if you accidentally blunder your queen, not if it's a sacrifice. Which in this case, it was very clearly a sacrifice. There were other options for the queen, which I would argue are better than playing queen takes f4. But
yeah, I don't know.
Not too certain about this queen takes f4. I think queen takes f4 might be a little bit ambitious.
Yeah, I think
we appreciate it though.
We're seeing Cole play like he's a wonder, but only a wonder can play like a wonder.
Yes, for sure.
But who knows? The game's not over yet. Like maybe Owen will have some mouse slip.
I'm still bizarrely, I'm still very confused about queen takes f4. But hey, if you want to sacrifice your queen for 2 minors against a 2700, be my guest.
Yeah. Well, Owen, he's a strong player, and he's going to get some points back for Virginia. I mean, he was the only player to win in that first round. So he's going to be 2 for 2 if he can convert this. And I think we all have confidence that he can.
For sure.
Maybe we take a look back. Oh, too late. Jason already won his game. So he did end up getting the win after pushing for the win against Neely Win. So he's back in the win column. So that's good.
I love it. Also, we are getting a raid from Denims. Thank you so much for the huge raid. Welcome, everyone. We're currently commentating on the Collegiate Chess League over here with Joe. And the Collegiate Chess League is fantastic because it's the perfect showcase of some really professional players and also some I don't want to call them unprofessional players because that sounds wrong. It's not that they're being unprofessional, but they're just more casual players, I should say. Like, they're college students first and then chess players second, whereas some of the players we have in the Collegiate Chess Leagues are, still sort of chess players first and then college students second. Like Oparin, who is currently playing the European Club Cup. But yeah, we have some very interesting variety of players. But yeah, thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome everyone. For any of you that missed the first match, we saw UT Dallas take down Mizzou in a 9-7 upset, so that was really exciting. And now we have the second match for today, U Chicago taking on University of Virginia. Chicago right now has a lead in round 2, but we do have 2 rounds remaining after this one, so plenty of chess left to be played. And yeah, I think Chicago is going to win, but we also will have player interviews after this. So
yeah,
definitely stick around.
Definitely. And if you're not familiar with chess, that's totally okay because some of the players here are absolute characters. Absolute characters. I mean, you don't need to know that much about chess to watch some of Awandor's games and be like, so I'm guessing most of the time I'm not supposed to play like that, but because Awonder is a grandmaster, he can play like that.
Well, you don't even need to know the players to see that some of them are definitely characters. I mean, we got Awonder smiling all over the place, but we also have Cole playing from campus. It's crazy. But he did just lose to Owen, and we have the score 5-3 for Chicago going into halftime. So we will have a break coming up. Nemo, you want to get us ready for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So don't forget, we do have a college ambassador program. So the Chess.com college ambassador program is back. If you are a college student who wants to help grow chess on your college campus, join the team. Get the backing of Chess.com at your school. Benefits include diamond memberships, exclusive Chess.com merch, career opportunities, and even meeting chess celebrities. And for all the details, you can use Command CAP in the Chess.com channel chat and twitch.tv/chess. So please do that. And also, as a disclaimer, neither Joe or I are in college right now. But that is okay. We're here to cheer on all of the college students. We will be right back for rounds 3 and 4.
Your subscription makes shows like this possible, which is why our Twitch subscribers will never see ads on Chess.com. Connect your Chess.com account and Twitch account at go.chess.com/connect accounts, and bang, boom, voila, you're done. 100% ad-free bliss forevermore. Whether you're following our events on site or on stream, type the command connect in the chat, and thank you for helping bring these shows to life.
Love playing chess variants? Or just looking for something new? Join us for the Variants Community Series. Every 2 months, we'll be featuring a different variant in a series of events and competitions. Learn a new variant and compete against other players for prize money, or just play for fun. Look for community arenas, streamer arenas, and championship events. 6 weekly arena tournaments held every Thursday will be followed by a championship event with cash prizes, including a $1,000 first place prize. The third and final weekly arenas will be streamer arenas, featuring gifted subs as prizes. Win any of these events to qualify for the championship. The Variants Community Series kicks off on September 7th with King of the Hill, where the first to occupy the center wins the game. But getting checkmated still loses. And join the Variants Club today to learn more about upcoming events, how to participate, and much, much more. See you in the arena on Chess.com.
Welcome back to the Collegiate Chess League presented by SIG. Don't forget, you can use gaming skills in your career and apply at sig.com/chess. So we have seen some absolutely amazing games today, right, Joe?
Yes, I mean, we watched Mizzou versus UT Dallas in the first match, but the second match has been honestly maybe even more entertaining thanks to the play of Awonder, who's been playing some absolutely atrocious openings and some disrespectful end games, but brilliant moves and getting the job done nonetheless.
For sure. And we are going to take a quick look at round 3 lineups before we head into round 3 itself. But I do want to say it has been a little bit of a one-sided match so far for University of Chicago. I just realized we actually forgot to predict on this one, but that's okay. It's too late now.
We can still predict. I mean, I think we both probably would pick Chicago, but you said it's lopsided. Honestly, if you look at the score, it's only a 1-game difference. It's the game between Moses and Jason Moorfield. If Moorfield wins that, it's going to be a 4-4 tied match, but I think the lead is going to go more in Chicago's favor in these last 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's more what I was worried about. Not worried about. I mean, obviously, I'm not the one playing. They're allowed to do whatever they want. But as the Grandmasters are coming up for University of Chicago, playing against the stronger players on University of Virginia, it does mean that, you know, Virginia is starting to lose their chances to get those points. And Awonder is currently here at 2 out of 2. So he's now going to play against Owen, and he plays the same opening. I mean, I think there is an actual name for this. I think it's called Gambit Sandomierski in Polish, but I don't know why I don't know the English name for it, but now we can just call it the Awonder Gambit.
Awonder wants his name on this opening, perhaps. You know, it's funny. I'm not even sure if he's going to just keep doing this. Like, I assumed he would stop maybe after board 2, but he's still doing it against the board 3, and if he does it against Jason, like, that's going to be very exciting in round 4.
Okay, but at what point do you call it disrespect and not like just having fun?
That's a great question.
Because if I did this against somebody, I'm gonna get canceled instantaneously. the headlines are gonna be like, "Woman Grandmaster has no idea how to play chess."
Well, I mean,
and it's like if Awonder plays it, that's true. If I win, it all depends on if I win.
Yeah,
but
I think Awonder's got the talent to do it and back it up, but I think definitely like not playing Maiden 1 is kind of more disrespectful than opening like this.
Okay.
So, but I mean,
it.
Awonder's doing both, right? So
yeah. Well, not only that, he's also blundered a rook. Don't forget that. He's done this opening twice now. He has blundered a rook and then also refused to checkmate his opponent and won.
Yeah,
so,
he's also 2 for 2. So, some people like, I feel like you hate to play against them, but you love to have them on your team, like kind of player. So I love it. Are
you describing League of Legends?
I'm describing a lot of sports.
Okay, that's fair.
He's an instigator, but he's also got the talent. He's top board.
Yeah.
He kind of knows it. He's playing to have fun and he's getting results, but it's up to Owen or Jason to prove him wrong and to really shut him down. So we'll see if Owen can convert here, and we'll see if Awonder keeps playing like this in round 4.
I am down to do a prediction on that.
If he does it or not?
If he does something, let's say a subpar opening, yeah.
Subpar? I mean, that's
I feel like he's 100%. Yeah, he's 100% gonna play a subpar opening. Yeah, for all the games that we have seen Awonder play in the Collegiate Chess League so far, he has not played a single opening that we can put a name to.
Oh, I thought you had a name for this one in Polish.
Okay, well, I'm calling it Gambit Sandomierski, but like I don't even know if it's called that in Polish, and I also certainly have no idea what it is in English.
So I feel like you came up with that as well as like the Cypress Gambit, and I'm learning so much from your opening repertoire.
Well, hey, if you don't know the name for something, just make it up, right? Because who's going to argue against me? I definitely have authority here, Joe.
Who's gonna stop? Well, maybe we could ask Awonder if he has a name for this opening, because I feel like
we should ask Awonder.
Authority.
Yeah, let's do that. If Awonder comes on and is interviewed, then we will ask him certainly what the name for this opening is.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see that. I think we've definitely been taking guests at the end of these matches, typically from the winner's side. So I think Chicago will hold on to their lead here and get the job done, and hopefully we can bring in Awonder and see what he has to say.
Definitely. I mean, Awonder is just there stretching. He's really just enjoying life right now. I mean, he's got 4 minutes and 53 seconds on his clock. His position is actually not good. Oh, I take that back. I don't think Black should have taken that. Now he has opened up this entire file for the rook. Owen is going to have to answer to queen to h4, which had the threat of checkmate, so he plays f3, because now at queen h1, there is going to be king to f2. So I'm actually not so sure about Owen's position anymore.
Yeah. The king is not getting mated, but not too comfortable having to run. That h file is pretty intimidating. But can he convert it?
Can he convert it? I mean, if Owen plays perfect chess, which he is not going to, he will have a better position. But that involves playing, really good chess.
No confidence in Owen.
Not that there's no confidence. He only has 1 minute and 50. In a classical game, I don't think Awonder can get away with this as easily. But because it's blitz. Because it's blitz, he can get away with a lot more.
I don't think Owen has to play perfectly. I think Awonder has made mistakes, of course, like some of them on purpose. But like we saw him hang the rook earlier, so I think Owen could definitely still hold on to this position. Like it's still in White's favor actually, despite his king being on e2.
Well, he's gonna run,
and he's doing a good job.
Gonna run. He is doing a good job of running. Sometimes if your king is under attack and it's looking a little scary, you can just run.
Yeah.
Applies to life too. Feel like you're in trouble, you can run.
The problem is his clock. So Awonder, as always, is up like 3 minutes. So that's always going to be helpful when, even if the position's equal or a lot of times worse for Awonder. His clock management is always so good that his opponents just mistake and slip up, and that's when Awonder strikes and converts.
Awonder definitely is an enabler for opponents' mistakes. I mean, he's still got 4 minutes on the clock. There is 2 seconds of increment per move, but when you're playing against a grandmaster with your king on d1, you might be aware that your position is slightly better here, but I don't know if, Owen is going to have the confidence to play something like e takes d5, opening up his center even more while his king is still on d1. And if he doesn't take on d5, then it's also going to look really scary because there's d takes e4, so...
And we do see that trade. But I do kind of want to take a look at the bird's eye view because we have all the games have started, and there's a lot of interesting things that we could dive into. First off, on my mind is GM Balakrishnan versus FIDE Master Jason Moorfield on board 2.
Yeah, Jason not having the best day today. I feel like his game 1 might have shook him a little bit.
Yeah, that's rough. We saw him playing so well against the Mizzou team. So, it's hard to be on top of your game week in and week out.
Yeah, for sure. It's very hard to be in shape for a whole season, especially with a season as long as this one. We're only on week 3, but there are 7 weeks of regular season.
Yep.
7 weeks.
Well, it's also hard when you have to play against a grandmaster. So
that too, of course. But it's also fun playing against a grandmaster because at least if you lose, nobody's going to, mock you. Not that they should be anyways, but they especially can't mock you if you're losing to a grandmaster.
I think for Jason, he is team captain, top board for this Virginia team that maybe is on the lower end of the division. I think he's excited to play against the top talent and to be on broadcast. And even if his team might not win or have the best results, I think that Jason is really focused on his own individual performance. And he had a great showing week 1 that we saw. But this week, he's up against another strong team. He lost to a national master, board 4. He did get the win last round, but he also has a great chance against Awonder in round 4, depending on how Awonder wants to play it. So even if this game's not going well, there's still a lot of chess left. This game's not over yet, and he also has round 4 to play against Awonder.
Yeah, for sure. I don't love White's position here, but it's actually slowly improving. I mean, he has gotten the pawn on a6, and I don't think Black's short castle was the best response to that. I think here you should just be playing rook g8. It's not like you're really going to get checkmate. I know it looks a little scary, but there's just so much going on in this position. This white king is on c1. I feel like there's something you can look for here, but Black has castled. It's safe. It's solid. And just waiting for White to make a mistake.
Which maybe he just did.
Which maybe he just did. I feel like we've been jinxing the players a lot today.
The commentator's curse strikes again.
It really is. So the reason that bishop to b6 isn't good is because of knight to d5. And with knight to d5, your bishop is now under attack. And if you move your bishop, well, let's not go back to a7. But if you go here, for example, now there is bishop to f. No, I think
sack?
You can just take. I think you can just sack, right?
Wow.
This looks really good. It just looks really good. I mean, the pawn's coming down. You can just take on a6. If the bishop takes, now you can just take on the rook. And then you have rook here. So maybe my bishop choice. Yeah, anyways, it's just full of tactical opportunities. We don't need to go through the full line. But I think Black does agree that knight to d5 just looks good. See, one of those things about tactics, too, is that you don't have to analyze all moves. It's much easier when you have a board that you can make the moves on. But when you're actually playing a game online and you don't have an analysis board with you, all you can do is make the move, think that it's best, and then realize that you have continuations. In this case, it definitely looks like Black has beautiful continuations.
Ooh, but the Grandmaster Praveen, he just missed knight takes b2, which would have led to a tactic, bishop takes c3 as a fork.
Yeah, getting that knight on a5. But, you know, still okay. Still very much winning. There's no real rush for black. Oh, what about knight c6?
It's a great question. There's maybe bishop check to get out of it.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why he played g3.
G3, yep.
Do you want to take another
Stop
look
it
at
for-
bird's eye? Because we have the bottom boards that we haven't looked at yet. It looks like
Yeah.
every board is kind of in a chaotic position as the clocks are winding down. Wow. Owen gets the draw against Awonder.
Wow.
That's his first non-win of the match. So Owen making him pay for that dubious opening.
Indeed. I mean, now Wonder has to adjust and see if he wants to play similarly in the round 4, because now the score is 5.5 to 3.5. But Balakrishnan is completely crushing. So, want to take a look at Nicolas's game?
Yeah, let's take a look at the game 4. I love watching Cole's camera, but it's also interesting because Nicolas is actually taking it to Cole right now. It looks like Cole is losing.
It does. It does. Cole is down in exchange, and not a good position to be down the exchange in, considering his king's on g1, and there's a lot of mating nets in this position. And also black has this wonderful pass pawn that's just coming straight for c1. But he's going to try for rook h7 with the checkmate if black didn't play rook to b7. Although the bishop might be under attack, so is the rook, so now the bishop can just take back confidently.
Wow. Rook, yeah, threatening h7 mate, but luckily Nicolas has that beautiful resource, rook b7, defended by the bishop, which is on pre. But yeah, this should be a pretty easy way to convert. I don't see how you would hold here. So that's going to be a good result for the Chicago, or actually for the Virginia team. So the comeback might be alive, even despite the win from Balakrishnan, because Owen got a draw against Awonder. So Virginia's not dead yet.
Hey, you know, Cole might not be winning this game, but at least he's touching grass. So he's got one thing going for him.
That's true. We do have another game that we haven't looked at, the last one, Jason versus Yili. So maybe we take another look at bird's eye.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at bird's eye as we leave Cole. I do think that Yili is crushing this position. She is threatening checkmate with rook to b8, and I don't actually see how black fully counters that. Now that looks ugly. Queen e8.
Not just queen mate, yeah.
Yeah, that's a simple checkmate.
I think the queen had to go to the back rank, but then the rook would just hang.
Yeah.
So that's the dub.
Back to Cole's game it is.
Yeah, so Chicago is 1 point away from getting the win, and I suspect they should be able to do that, at least in the 4th round.
Oh. Sorry. Go ahead. We just saw Cole blunder.
Cole was losing
slightly.
this.
He was losing this, but he was also potentially not losing it.
Did he have a chance?
I think he had a chance earlier, but now he's just getting checked. Oh, wait.
He's trying to stalemate.
Wait, why didn't Nicolas just deliver checkmate? I mean, no, okay. Not my place to ask.
It's maiden one next.
I think he had one chance here, unless I just missed it. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I just saw a ghost. I thought there was something here for one move, but yeah, I think he was probably just fully lost. He was just fully lost.
Oh, did you see, like, his bishop was pinned, so maybe it was like...
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
I think I saw a ghost. It's all good. Unfortunate
7.5
for
to
Cole.
4.5. So 3-point lead for Chicago. They only need 1 point in the 4th round to get the dub, and I think probably they're gonna rely on. I mean, any of their players really could do it, but I think that Awonder's still gonna be up to his usual shenanigans, despite getting a draw in round 3.
Yeah, I definitely think so too. I don't think he's too stressed about the draw. He definitely has, the credentials to back up his gameplay. And in the middle game, really, Owen did defend very well, like you said. He doesn't need to play perfect moves sometimes, but just played well. So I've been a huge fan of watching these games. For everybody that is watching, any particular moments that you have really enjoyed so far today or in any of the other collegiate chess leagues? It is currently 7.5 to Chicago. They only need one more point to bring it to 8.5, which is what the score is needed for them to secure the win. But University of Virginia is also fighting back pretty well.
Yeah, look at the player performances so far. We've got a perfect score on board 2 for Chicago. Praveen Balakrishnan, 3 out of 3. He's going to look to get the job done with a perfect 4 out of 4 against Owen. But Owen hasn't lost yet, so he did get that draw against Awonder. So that'll be an interesting matchup on board 2. But I'm most excited for board 1, Jason versus Awonder. And we do have a change-up in Awonder's opening. Instead of bringing the knight out, he's going for this early H-pawn push.
Whoa! I love to see it!
So I feel like this is like definitely less dubious. Like I think Awonder is being a little bit more serious.
Awonder is definitely being a little bit more serious. Wait. Did we just say that H4, H5 is being a little bit more serious?
Then
where have our standards go? No, I don't. I call this the Alpha Zero game because Alpha Zero loves to push H4, H5. But I don't know if this is more serious. I mean, if this is our standard for more serious, we have some serious issues.
Well, this is definitely more serious than 5-move gambit.
You think so? All right, wait.
Yeah.
I want to poll. I see Aquila in the chat. Can you please?
H4, H5. I mean, that's definitely... At least he can't move his pawns backwards, right?
Wait. No, doesn't that make it worse? If you can't move your pawns backwards, isn't that just worse? Because at least with the knight, you're just shuffling. So you can always decide where to go with the pawn later. But in Awonder's case, he has fully planted a pawn on h5 and pushed up his a pawn. So where is he going to castle? I want to ask chat, what do they think is more serious? Awonder's knight shuffle opening or h4, h5?
I think h4, h5 is more serious because he's taking space, right? It might not be controlling the center, but at least he's making progress. Even if you think it's a weakness, it can't be more of a weakness than retreating the knight multiple times.
You're convincing the chat before a poll has even come out.
Well, you've stated your opinion as well.
I have stated my opinion. I have. I just want to see what everybody else thinks. I mean, I've been really enjoying Awonder's openings. As we can see, h4, h5 has actually gotten him in a worse position than before. So, obviously he's playing against somebody who's a little stronger than his previous opponents, but I don't know, man.
I love how Jason's playing this. He's kicking the bishop out from the center. He's taking space with those pawns. I mean, that's kind of a hard position to play. How do you deal with all these pawns in your face?
I don't know, but I bet he's regretting pushing h4, h5 right now as he castles short. Sorry, I'm just a stickler for this. The poll is up, Chad. You guys can go vote. I just have a personal vendetta against h4, h5. I think it's very unsound. Not saying that Awonder's knight shuffle is sound, but at least you're not weakening your king side 2 moves in the game.
I don't think Awonder's regretting. I don't think Awonder plays openings with the idea of regret in the back of his mind. I think that he knows exactly what he's doing and what he's getting himself into. And again, like we've mentioned this weeks before, Awonder's giving himself more of a challenge. Like, this is just a game for him, right? He wants to see how bad he can make it before he ultimately comes back. And I have a lot of faith in him, but I also think Jason is the kind of player to punish him for these kind of actions. Jason is definitely the side for choice here. And if you think about it, normally Awonder's ticket back into the game is his success on the clock. And as you can see, Awonder is actually down in this position and in time as well. So this is a rarity for Awonder to be down in both the board and the clock.
Indeed. And I think, to your point, yes, chess is a game. Wow, I know that's a concept sometimes for a lot of folks, but you should be having fun with it. I mean, you don't have to. Look, I'm not going to tell anyone out there that you have to have fun with chess, but I certainly do hope that you guys are having fun playing chess. I hope you guys are enjoying the commentary. I hope you guys do chess activities because you find it fun. And I think Awonder is finding this fun. And sometimes, what's wrong with that? So even though he is in a slightly worse position right now, he has plenty of tricks up his sleeve. And like f3, he's going to lose one pawn, or bishop to f3. He's still going to lose one pawn.
Which pawn?
No, well, I was going to say rook d3 looks terrifying. What do you do after rook d3? I mean, the e4 pawn's going to hang. Sorry?
Maybe bishop e3?
Bishop e3. But I think I still take the e4 pawn.
Ah, true. Because that defends the rook on d3.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe can we play G? No. Yes, maybe. You tell me. G3 is my move.
I don't know. Rook d3, I think g3 is probably the best call. Chat has voted that h4, h5 is more serious, but unfortunately it's not giving him the results that he wants right now, so I'm a stickler for. But anyways, this looks pretty awkward to play. It's probably not as terrible as the engine thinks it is, but it's definitely very passive for white. All of his pieces are not even past the second rank, which I personally do not love. Oh, and he has played rook d3 and bishop e3, your move. So now I think bishop takes e4.
That's how we know Awonder's in trouble, when he's playing my moves.
Oh my gosh, Joe, cut yourself some slack. In 300 points, you're going to become a national master.
Oh, no. When people say, like, oh, I play like a grandmaster, it's not when they play the knight 5 times in an opening or h4, h5. Right? But Awonder is making a lot of dreams come true out there.
Exactly. Chat, all of you guys can play like a grandmaster. Just shuffle your pieces back and forth or play h4, h5.
Yeah, and then just win.
Yeah.
Except in this case, I think Jason's finally gonna be the player to prove Awonder wrong.
Knight to d7 is not the move I'm worried about though, because I think now there's just rook takes d3 and queen takes d3, and you're just going off into this endgame. It's very safe. Don't get me wrong. Black is definitely still better and is up a pawn at this current moment, but it feels like white has a lot of comeback opportunities going for the c5 pawn potentially and go into this endgame. So I'm really not convinced about 97. I'm not sure why we didn't take the free pawn on e4.
Well, I think I know why. I think bishop e3 attacks the c5 pawn, and Jason maybe got a little bit caught up on that.
That is true. So the c5 pawn does fall, but
with tempo.
But I think your knight's just coming over. This just felt so powerful to me. It's okay sometimes to give a pawn for another pawn, but in this case, it does look like, Jason's still doing just fine.
Yeah, for sure. I would be shocked if Jason can't convert this. But I mean, Awonder is the most tricky player out there. Like, obviously, there's still chances, even though his position's terrible.
For sure.
But we're getting down to the time crunch. But before we just stick to this one game, I think we should check out some of the other ones.
Yeah. Do you want to take a look at Moses' game? Not just for his lovely courtyard, which is a very nice change of scenery. We haven't seen anything green today. I personally have not stepped foot outside of my apartment. But also, he is winning. And has played a double exclamation mark move.
Check that out.
Check that out.
Can we go back? Was there a pawn on f2 there that he took?
there was a pawn on f2 that he took. So the reason that bishop takes f2 is so good is because if king takes, I was going to suggest queen e3 and I realized the rook is still on c3, so no Boda's gambit. So we're going to go to queen d4 instead. It's basically the same idea. You're chasing the king out. Idea is still the same, but it's effectively just checkmate. I mean, I think you can even play rook e4. I think rook e4 might be your only move actually here. White has no back rank checks, so you're safe for now. And after bishop takes, queen takes, you're going for queen to g4. So if you try to stop that, now you can just take on g2 because white is just so weak on the king side. So bishop takes f2, wonderful move coming out here from Moses Cole.
And if rook takes?
And if rook takes, I think it's just mate in like 4. Queen d4 once again, not queen e3. This first, and then you can take on f1.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful move. Bishop takes f2. Every Friday on my channel, I host an event called Flex Friday where my chatters get to submit their best games for cash prizes or their worst games, which also wins the cash prize, actually. We are equal opportunists here. If you play a terrible game, I also want to reward you. But this would definitely be one of those type of games. This is bishop takes f2 is a wonderful, wonderful move.
Yeah. And this is interesting. Whoa! Queen f2. Does this work?
No, because you don't have to take. If you take, it's checkmate. But you can also just move your no. You can't move this rook because then there's rook e1, right? Which is also checkmate. So you can play rook to c1.
Oh, back.
Yeah, you can do this.
Wow, so Cole finds the brilliancy but can't find the follow through. But
but it's okay because his opponent also just, oh my god, forgot about queen to f1.
Wow.
All
right, so it works out for Cole.
It does. Hey Svenny, thank you. It all works out for Cole, but this was not the best
Cole's got
offense.
A smile on his face. Look at that smile. Maybe he's got an audience in front of him. Look at. I mean, I wish more people on campus knew what a legendary checkmate this kid just pulled off.
Yeah, that's a great camera angle. I love it. Love to see that. He looks very happy after his win. I mean, I don't know if he knows how close that was to not being a win, but we'll let him enjoy. There's nothing wrong with that. A win is a win. A checkmate is a checkmate. He knows he got away with it. Yeah, I think he probably knows that he got away with it.
He knows, chat.
Yes.
He knows.
Oh, and we have a result coming in from Awonder actually, who has just drawn his game against Jason.
Wow.
So he
We got one last game in this round. The board 3 between Yili Wen and Nicolas Checa. Looks like Yili's in kind of a time scramble here. Less than 30 seconds.
Less than 30 seconds. I mean, she is chilling on 20. I'm a little bit concerned. But at least the end game is very safe and very solid. So what's the worst that could happen?
The worst that could happen, you lose.
Oh,
I guess.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Wow.
Yeah.
Would have never
Answering
guessed
the
that one.
hard-hitting questions here.
Okay.
But yeah, the results, unfortunately, at this point doesn't matter, as Chicago has clinched the dub. They're at 10-5. Unfortunately, we didn't predict on this one. This is
we did not.
A missed opportunity for us.
Yes, it was.
But even though the match is over, the broadcast is far from over. We still have some exciting player interviews coming up, so definitely stick around. I hope that we can bring either Awonder on to ask some questions about his openings, or maybe even we could get Cole on and ask him about how his day's going out on the campus quad.
The weather seems so nice there. He's in Virginia, right? Yeah.
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay.
Yeah. It's a beautiful campus from the glimpse that I saw.
Yes, certainly looks that way.
I'm sure Virginia is also very pretty.
Well, nobody's playing the campus courtyard, so maybe it's not.
Yeah, we'll have to ask them next week. We need the campus view.
Yes.
I think this game looks like it's coming down to a draw here. Oh, but Yili is going for the win. She's pushing.
I like it a lot. White's king is definitely a lot less safe than Black's king, so I think going for opening some files, some half-open files, is a really good idea by Yili.
Oh.
Rook to g4, and we have a Botez gambit from Nicolas, who is 400 points higher rated than her. Very well played by Yili. Pushing for that win was the correct decision, for sure.
Yeah, let's see her convert this into a victory.
Wow. See, chat, this is why you guys should also play for the win most of the time. I'm saying most of the time because if I say all of the time, then somebody's going to lose and they're going to be like, well,
they're going to blame you.
Nevo told me that I can play for a win anytime. And then I'm going to be like, well, only if you can actually. But anyways, you know, with some experience.
What? Wait. Queen takes
well,
h3 was not played.
Well, there's a rook on e3.
Oh, my bad. I'm trying to Botez gambit back to make it exciting.
It's all good. No worries.
Well, yeah, the game's not over. I mean, you still have to convert I think with the pawns, you know, it's still like White's trying to make a fortress. Oh, and sacking an exchange. That's very interesting.
Very good idea, removing that light squared bishop, because now Yili will have full control over the light squares, and that's where her pawns are going to promote.
The threatening queen b1.
Yes, with
very
the
close to mate.
Yeah, and
there's bishop c4. Yeah, so awesome upset win there. And I do want to also mention that Jason on board 4 for Virginia was also a sub. So last time we saw Virginia play, they had Maheen playing. So Chicago got an upgrade with Moses, and Virginia had to bring in a sub. So it's kind of even more of a mismatch there. But the final score is 11-5 for Chicago. A strong performance from their board 2 Grandmaster Praveen, getting a perfect 4-for-4 score. And obviously Awonder being a star, going 3 out of 4. But he had 2 draws against the top 2 boards with his opening odds. So what are your thoughts of the match, Nemo?
I mean, I think University of Chicago won fairly convincingly. I don't think today was the best day for Jason, but also Awonder just out there having fun. I mean, I really respect that. It's not every day you see chess players just absolutely in their own element, doing what they want, not worried about what the press thinks. I mean, look, we have seen some pretty interesting openings. We've seen a bomb cloud here and there, but this is the Collegiate Chess League, and although the stakes might not be hundreds of thousands of dollars, there are still stakes. And seeing Awonder just casually pull off whatever that gambit is, or whatever that opening is, and play h4, h5 in the very last game has been really fun. So yeah, I think Joe, are we bringing on Awonder for the interview later?
Well, you're gonna have to stick around and find out, but we're definitely gonna bring in a guest, a player from Chicago, as our interviewee.
For sure. We'll be right back with Awonder after break. Welcome back to the Collegiate Chess League. Today's matches were brought to you by SIG, and we are joined here today by the wonderful Grandmaster Awonder Liang. So, Awonder, we've seen you play today. Your games were really exciting, but we all really want to know what inspired the opening choice of Knight A6, Knight B8, Knight A6, Knight B8, and also, does it have a name?
I don't think it has a name in particular, but yeah, I've just been analyzing a lot of new openings lately. And yeah, so the idea behind this one is, after 4 moves, I have like no weaknesses in my position. And White's played, like E4, D4, Knight F3, Bishop D3. And so there are a lot of like targets there for me to attack. So really just like getting the opponent to provoke their position a bit. And yeah, I've just been trying to analyze new opening ideas and try to find new things to play. So yeah, I played it against Begum last week as well. I think I had a winning position by like move 20 or so. So yeah, just, regular opening. Just been experimenting a bit mostly.
That's awesome. And I wanted to follow up on that question. And this is actually a featured question from the chat from one of our moderators, Aquila Ungula. Do you have fun playing these openings? And is it kind of like a challenge to you to like see how bad it can get before you ultimately kind of like swindle and get the win anyways?
No, I don't think they're particularly bad openings. As I said, I've analyzed them somewhat. And yeah, it's it's maybe a little bit more provocative, but I think with enough engine analysis, a lot of things become playable. And for me, it's just, about really finding new opening ideas and creative ways to play the game. Just for example, like I think just a couple of days ago, Magnus played, 1A6 in the European Cup, and it seems a little weird. But actually, I have like a couple of files in that line already. And like, I'm not even like, a serious chess player. So I think it's really just in modern chess, you really have to analyze and know a lot of openings. And so yeah, that's always part of the challenge, right? Like everyone's analyzing and everyone's, grinding out like every single opening. And so you just really have to be prepared and know a lot more. So for me, yeah, it's just kind of part of my repertoire.
I absolutely love this answer by you, Awonder, but I'm also a little bit shocked because I cannot believe that you have been spending time analyzing Knight A6, Knight B8, Knight A... Okay, so my question for you is, how confident are you in your openings? How confident are you in giving away so much tempi in the opening? Because we all have these really basic chess rules like control the center, develop your pieces, and all that stuff. But, you're a grandmaster, so please do give us your insight.
No, yeah, I don't think it's so special. Actually, I think it's maybe a bit of the reverse that, with the powerful engines these days, chess is becoming a lot less creative. So it's really boiling down a lot more to memorization and knowing the key openings. Yeah, I don't think it's particularly like. I think, as I said, that it's a bit of a trade-off, right? So you're losing tempi, moving pieces back and forth, but on the other hand, it's very provocative. So White's opening up their position. They're giving White a lot of opportunities to create weaknesses in their camp. So there's like up and down sides to it. So I wouldn't say it's like anything particularly shocking or special. Just, like there's a lot of slightly provocative openings there to try and get some kind of playable position as Black, and I think this is one of the nice ones.
Awonder, thank you for that. And I had a question more so about your team and how you think you'll do this season. Obviously, you guys won back in season 3, and you have a teammate on board too, Praveen, who had a perfect score today. And I'm sure that definitely helps the team. And now you've even added a national master in Moses on board 4. So that's a huge plus. How do you guys think that you pair up against some of these scholarship schools? And do you think that you can go deep again in playoffs this year?
Yeah, I think we always do fairly well in the playoffs. Of course, it kind of depends on how the scholarship teams do. Big shout out to Chess.com's fair play detection, because we've run into some issues with Chess.com or the other scholarship schools in that regard. But I think it really all boils down to on the day of. I'm very fortunate that we have a lot of great players. Praveen, running 4 out of 4, just demolishing the other team. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. It's always fun for me to play against the top teams and see how I do. So yeah, for us, I think there's not so much pressure. We just play. We have a good team camaraderie. Everything's just a lot of fun. And I'm really glad every week to be able to play with my team.
Love to hear it. I mean, you have been playing absolutely amazing chess. I think your team is going to go really far. But next week, for week 4, you are going to be facing off against St. Louis University. And do you think you are going to switch up the way you play or your openings, or are you going to give your team a little talking to? What are your thoughts going to next week?
Yeah, I will say, St. Louis University, they're one of the teams that has really been playing, very, very, very accurate chess when we've played them in the past. So I think I'll need to prepare for that really well. They've just inhumanly accurate chess. So I think, we'll see how it goes. But it should be a fun match.
Thank you very, very much, Awonder. Chicago versus St. Louis will be definitely a key focal point of next week's matches. But we've had an exciting day today, so we will say, Awonder, thank you. And also thank you to everybody who has been supporting us on this channel for another exciting day of chess. Joe, honestly, what do you think was the most exciting thing about today?
I mean, obviously, Praveen's play, definitely very entertaining. So much thanks to Awonder. Did I say Praveen? I mean, Awonder.
You made Awonder. Okay, sorry, Awonder. He's still on the Zoom interview. I can see his face down there. He's cracking up. All right, thank you, Awonder. We will say bye to him, but...
Yeah. Sorry, Awonder's play, obviously always entertaining, and really excited to watch him play. Next week, if we can get it back on broadcast, the Mizzou versus UT Dallas game, huge for the season standings overall at large, like Dallas getting their win against an undefeated team. So we'll see if Dallas can be taken down at some point. But yeah, I'm really excited. You have a preview for next week's matches, Nemo?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I am personally invested in how Awonder does against St. Louis. I don't think that University of Chicago on its own is going to score particularly well against St. Louis, and this is not shade to the University of Chicago at all. It's just the fact that St. Louis has like 27 points out of a possible 32. So, that's pretty crazy. Of course, University of Texas Dallas is actually now leading with 27.5. Sorry, that has not been updated. That's my bad. Did not mean to say that. They have played 3 matches, whereas we only have St. Louis at 2 matches. But overall, I think next week is going to be exciting.
Can't agree more. Can't wait. And thanks everyone for watching, tuning in. Very exciting matches coming up for college chess. So stay tuned for that.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much for watching this broadcast on the Chess.com channel. I hope you guys are staying as excited for the Collegiate Chess League as we are. And also, do not forget, this is presented by SIG. So use gaming skills in your career and apply at sig.com/chess. Thank you all very much for watching.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.